Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. Welcome to the Giant Bombcast, episode 894. I'm your host, Jan Ochoa. Not even the weather can stay over me. I'm not staying under it. I'm getting over it, baby. Joining me, co-captain of the ship and master blaster of faces, Jeff Grub.
Toot, watch out. I got a party popper, and I don't care who fucking dies.
That's right. We collected his ashes. Complicated rituals involving several pounds of Mountain Dew, fruit snacks, and too many Skittles. Dan Reichert.
I lived. My chin still hurts, but my lip's better now. No lasting damage, I don't believe.
We managed to cover him in enough SPF that business Dracula did not burn up in the Los Angeles sun. Jeff Bakalar.
What's going on? Yeah, I used a little bit of sunscreen at play days. The sun did not impact me. I'm feeling good. My skin feels good. And it's just business as usual here in my Romanian Dracula castle.
Look, it's Nutter Butter.
Yay.
Oh.
Jeff has a kitty.
Oh.
I got a kitten while I was gone. Don't jump for it.
You're gonna get. I've still got scars from my slash.
We trimmed her claws, so she's got like the nice little nubbins on there. The vet will teach you how to do that if you need to be.
Ours is just like 20 knives flinging around all the time.
I like that too.
He's flinging them around himself because he's the master of the grill. What is he, Dan? Dr. Meat Doctor?
Meet Dr. Mitch.
Dr. Mitch, the merch master Mitch, the 12th man of the Wu-Tang group, the bad boy of games media, Mike Minotti.
Hi, I slept for 15 hours last night.
Really?
Yeah.
All kidding aside, I was impressed with how much you are able to sleep, just full stop. And then on top of that, with like ruckus and chaos going around. I'm impressed.
I always slept a lot. Then I got the CPAP, and now like I can just sleep. I can just go. I would sleep constantly if I could. Just most of the day, like a bear. Most animals actually. Most animals do sleep a lot because it turns out it's a better way to live. And I think I should emulate them.
Hey, you know what animal in LA is messed up? Squirrels.
Squirrels?
They
They're
seem
so brave.
Urban squirrels are scary.
Yeah, they seemed a little confident in a way that was bothersome.
I had one outside my window that would harass me every morning. He's like, wake up, and then he'd just stare at me through the window. It was
just
crazy.
like knocking on the window.
Basically, yeah.
Speaking of scary in LA, I feel like Grub, you and I should talk about our encounter on the last night there.
Yeah. I needed a Slurpee, so we went to 7-Eleven.
I'm very glad I had you with me, Grub, because I'll let you describe my defense against the situation. We went to 7-Eleven. Grub got a Slurpee. I got an ice cream Butterfinger and a bunch of big Modelo gimmicks. And I'm walking back with a bag. We are, 3 houses down from the 7-Eleven, basically. And not a particularly bad area of LA, I would say, or anything. But we get away from the 7-Eleven and we start hearing, hey, from like clearly pointing in our direction.
Oh, they were yelling at us for sure.
Clearly yelling at us on like a dark street. No one else is around.
And to Dan's credit, you just started walking faster, didn't look back or anything. Yeah.
Yep. And Grub, you were just like, just keep walking. And I was like, okay. I lived in San Francisco. I know, just kind of ignore it. But like, they were clearly latched on to us in a way where it's like, oh, they're going to approach us.
We did stop to turn around once we started to hear them sprinting at us. We heard the footsteps getting very fast.
Yes. And so it was this woman sprinted at us, clearly was not in a great way, very wild-eyed. And she was pointing my bag and she's like, you took my bag, motherfucker. You took my bag. And I was like, I didn't take your bag. I promise you. And she was just really, really adamant. And then Grub, do you want to describe my master stroke of how to get out of the situation?
Yeah. She's like, he took my bag. I'm like, no. She's like, no, that's my bag. And Dan goes, and thinking maybe this would help, I have a receipt.
And then the aggressor was like, my mistake. Have a pleasant evening.
And she goes, I don't care. Let me see it. And I'm just like, no, and just told Dan to
Grub
just
barked at her. Grub was just like, no, and like he was approaching a bear or something, and she kind of backed off before screaming the N-word at us a bunch.
Yeah, she called us the N-word and walked away.
And then she said I was going to jail. She goes, "You're going to jail, motherfucker." And it's like, please call the police right now. Please call the police. I have a receipt.
I mean, I'm like, we're just in the living room, and I hear like this pounding at our door. And I'm like, oh, Dan's being a silly again. I like slowly walk over and open it.
What was he like when you let him in? Did he seem upset?
Manic, terrified.
Just like he had run for the first time in a long time. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Maybe you're walking a lot of that thing. And he just was exasperated and fear. Not gonna lie, I kind of feel good.
The Kansas upbringing, the suburban Kansas upbringing really came out of me that night. It was like, let me in the fucking house.
Just seeing when the shit really hits the fan.
Dan tried to later take out a bag of trash or something, or like close up the garage or something, and Jan was making a phone call on the other side of the fence. He's like, "Grub, there's someone on the other side of the fence." I'm like, let me take a look. And
I do find it very interesting because like Dan is absolutely fearless about some things. He's constantly like, I'm gonna go skydiving and I'd go on a roller coaster if it was 300 miles per hour. I don't know if that would kill me, but it'd be fun. I'm gonna eat 2 slices of pizza after handling raw meat without washing my hands. But yeah, just one encounter like that, he's shaken up for the whole evening.
Oh, you mean like real life? Yeah, it's when real life comes and knocks on his door. Dan's the one in the bunker.
Yeah, real life accuses me of stealing its bag. Yeah. Oh boy, but yes, I'm glad Grub was there. Mike. I'm sure Mike Minotti would have been just real cool, tough guy.
I feel like
fine.
Yeah,
I had a receipt.
I know.
Like, here's where it says my name.
Here's the last four of my credit card number.
Purchased.
I think maybe just Minotti could potentially be a scarier figure in that.
Yeah, I feel
moment.
like Minotti would like plant his ground and start growling. And
Like
go,
Minotti,
yeah, he's dealt with a lot in Youngstown, Ohio, for sure.
I want Minotti,
yes,
like in a street brawl. No offense, Dan, you might be last picked in that. Oh, buddy, what?
I've seen so much wrestling.
Mike's a big boy. He's gonna throw down and be okay. I'm not worried with Mikey.
Yeah,
Man,
I'll be all
that's
right.
a good question. I feel like we both have similar upbringings in a way. Mike's yours was cushier. I would have been tougher.
What?
Right?
Tougher,
He
scrappier, maybe.
He cannot start the poll debate of who is tougher.
All right,
No.
fine. Dan and us will have a fight on camera.
Yeah,
We'll figure it
do it.
out.
Yeah, we're
Let's
doing
do
those
it.
celebrity
Tattoo
boxing
gimmicks.
matches.
Yeah,
Well,
I feel like the Golden Nugget Casino tattooed on her back
Yeah.
for money. Yeah.
I will say, like I had a friend kind of similar. I would say kind of similar to Dan, like this in high school, and it was this whole thing, like, well, who would win in a fight? So finally, it's like, all right, let's have a fight.
Oh
and
my
all
God.
that happened was I pinned him to the ground and sat on their throat for a while until like, all right, do you give up? And, like he kind of just wouldn't. So he started like, kind of getting in a bad way. So it's like, all right, I give up. I don't want to hurt you. And then they're like, wow, the other guy won.
Oh, wow.
So I could see it going a very similar way.
I learned something from staying with y'all for like what was it 3-4 days?
4 nights.
4 nights. Dan's farts just sound like a stereotypical fart. Like
Yeah,
a
he's got-
cartoon
Fart
like
wave.
fart.
Fart
Yes.
wave. Yeah.
I was like, wow, you could make a killing selling that sound effect.
It's like
Holy
a trumpet.
fart man.
Holy fart, man. I want to give special shouts out to a couple of homies that helped us to get GB at night and all the shenanigans that we did from the Airbnb up and running. Shouts out to Chuck. Holy smokes, Chuck, what a useful dude, huh?
oh
Yes,
my
yeah.
goodness. Yes.
I don't think it could be overstated. Just
How well we used him. Yeah,
much-
we rang everything out of that guy.
Just how important Chuck was to not only that weekend, but how important Chuck has been since we took ownership of this.
Yeah, it's been
business.
huge.
Here's a nice thing I could say about Chuck, because Chuck and I were actually on the same flight back to Pittsburgh. Chuck had a layover there. Chuck got off the plane first, and then Grub, he waited for me.
My goodness.
Of course he did.
Well, he learned from my mistake.
Of course he did.
I waited for Tyler Robertson, who I just met this weekend after we were on the same flight together. So
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm teaching you social cues, but
No, I just thought I'd be nice to because this is a person I just met. You, it's like whatever.
Also, special shouts out to our dear friend Nikki, of course.
Nikki.
Unfortunately, Nikki's bag got jacked during the VGB's mixer, but the community and the internet was very kind to help them reach well past their goal. So hopefully they can find a Switch to replace that, as well as their laptop. What the fuck, y'all?
Yeah, that sucked.
Also, special shouts out to James for lending us an obscene amount of gear, so much so that we had to politely turn down a good chunk of it. Also, shouts out to James for picking it up.
Thank you, James.
That's
great
good.
meeting you, bud.
That's grind style actually from the community, everybody. So yeah, huge shout outs to James.
Special shouts out to our sound engineer Kara for dealing with our shenanigans the whole week.
Thank you, Kara. Poor Kara, like one of the first things that she saw was Dan get blasted by confetti and fall to the ground.
And it knocked off his mic too, which she brought.
It blew my lav mic off. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go through the thank yous and then circle back around to that. I know. Kara had a great time. She confessed to me. She's like, "This is funny. You guys are okay."
All right.
I'm so glad because like the whole time, like in leading conversations leading up to the event, I'm like, how do I tell this like professional person that we're a bunch of like doofuses (parentheses positive)?
Oh, but
we're
even
like broy, but the good broy. We're trying to be at least.
Yeah, but people who work in they've seen that. You didn't have. I'm sure she was like, "Oh, this is just weird, but it's fine."
I'm sure that
Max shirt. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
You're wearing the Max shirt. I'm sorry. I just
and Keith's the Max.
Yeah, cool. All right, keep going.
I'm sure that Emma did some like light massaging as well, and like giving her expectations as to like the type of people she'd be working with. And also special shouts out to our sponsors, Warframe, Annapurna Interactive, Papagenta, Tome 2, Young Horses. Sorry, I had to put some stank on it, and Dosa Divas for helping SGF happen for us. Holy smokes, guys!
That was
we planned that super fast.
Yeah, what an amazing outpouring of support from all those groups. It was like we're just blown away. Our hearts are filled. Thank you so very much. This was great.
Yeah, I kind of miss the Warframe Villa, guys. I'm not gonna lie.
I know.
I woke up
and missed the Warframe Villa. It's not the same.
I told the owner, I said, like, we absolutely loved it there, and we do these shows from LA a couple times a year, and I would love to return. That place was great.
Yep.
Yeah. I woke up in my regular apartment today, and I was like, it's not the same. It's not the same as the Warframe Villa.
It is not.
All right, gang.
Probably have differing opinions about staying there forever. I think it was fun to get home. I enjoyed getting home.
That was a mere taste. If we got a content house, imagine.
Content house would have to be, I think, bigger for sure.
TikTok house.
I could get shot in the face every day to wake up.
Yeah.
I'm back in. Just to go, I don't want to forget this conversation. So this happens to Dan. 14 seconds. Can we talk about it right now? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Let's talk about Dan getting blasted in the face.
Not 14 seconds into this entire weekend is Dan on the ground, and I'm watching, and I'm like, oh my God, like my entire business Dracula life flashed before my eyes.
Yeah. Your life flashed before your eyes.
Yeah, we're talking about me. So you go down and it's that part where it's like, oh, the friend fell, and is he okay? We're all having fun. And I went in to get you some ice, which I don't think you said out loud to anybody, but
you did. I came back with all this stuff there, yeah.
And then the best was the conversation that I had, just Dan and I, in the hallway, where he's like, am I bleeding? And I'm like, not at all. He's like, no, I think I'm bleeding. And his mic is dangling down his shirt. And I'm like, we might be live. Just keep your voice down. Right. And you're incoherent. You were kind of speaking.
I just got shot in the fucking face.
I'm not saying there's no reason for it.
He might have actually been in shock.
This is what was.
Yes.
This
is his nom.
And then he's also talking to me with the tissue up against his face. So he's like, I don't know what's happening. I feel like my face fell off. Is my face on? And I'm like, everything's fine, buddy. Don't worry. It was truly an amazing moment it was cinema.
There was a little blood. Had a little bit of blood.
Tiny little bit.
Mostly numbness from like bottom of my nose to my chin.
Let's not undersell it. Like you're bruised all through your mouth. It was all like black in there. It was rough.
Yeah. I didn't realize that until I was talking to Greg Miller, and he's like, "The inside of your lip is black." And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Oh shit, okay."
When you came back, I could not stop laughing. Like when you came back from your like ice and whatever, I just couldn't stop laughing.
I was just so relieved to see all his teeth that I was feeling like $1 million at that point.
You know what? Like it took a while to get up and running because we had some audio bugs, and then I was like, it took so long to get the stream up. Should I really bring it down right now?
No.
And then Grub just carried on the conversation. My favorite, two of my favorite things, right, is as soon as it happens, like no one actually gets up to check on Dan, and then
It's a bit.
I was like, I'm not sure. And then once I realized it wasn't Bill, I'm like, someone please help him because like, if I walk away, what happens to the show?
But then like Jesse Vitelli just takes a big swig out of his drink.
Yeah,
And then the Reddit
Mike took a hit of his vape.
Yeah, exactly. The Reddit that blew up accused Mike of like, oh wow, that guy's just gonna hit his vape after this, not knowing it's a fucking kazoo.
Wait, but did you play the kazoo after he got hit?
I don't think so. Maybe I nervously put it back in my mouth for a bit because I was terrified.
I get it.
don't know.
I get it.
And I get it too, because it's like I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, where it's like I'm a worker to an extent, and you know, like or I embellish or exaggerate a little bit. And so it's like Mike talked about once, like last year or something. He threw something at me in a bathroom at the SGF party, and I sold it, and I flew back against the wall and fell down or something. And so I work enough to where it's like, okay, I can see how they think it's a bit, but 0%. Like that is just me reacting to trauma.
I will to Dan and Jeff's credit, you were both immediately just like, oh well, things happen. I'm traumatized.
I cannot get mad at that. And I've done plenty of bullshit that I shouldn't have
Had
done.
Dan had any permanent damage, I would be in a bad way. I was just like, it seems like if I was in his shoes and this was the damage, I would be feeling the same way as Dan. So it was easy to like go on with it. But had there been anything that looked like, I knocked the tooth a little loose, I would have been devastated.
Okay, so last year, Dan blasted Grub with a leaf blower.
Oh yeah.
This year,
We're escalating.
Grub blasted Dan
We're
with a
not
confetti
escalating.
cannon. Next year, is it just going to be a full-on like 10 paces duel?
We shoot Mikey out of a cannon.
There we go.
Why not? I'm not involved.
Turn the aim.
Oh, let's shoot a cannonball at Mikey.
There we go.
Like that Simpsons thing. Yeah.
Right.
It felt
To the
like
gut.
it felt like I was witnessing like someone attempt to assassinate somebody.
I mean,
Sure felt that way.
Like
it
it
basically looked that way.
I got an idea.
The look in your eyes, Grub. Like what from my point of view, when I saw it, you were like, "This is my chance. This is my chance."
We're gonna
Got
get
an
him,
idea.
folks.
Let's shoot a buzzball out of a cannon at Jan.
Into his mouth.
Yeah.
How about we
Yeah,
shoot the
okay.
buzzball away from the house? That was disgusting.
Okay, no. That was perfect. People will see it in the vlog that's going to go up this week. But Dan and I think Backlar is there. We go into the garage or the void fridge, and then Dan just starts laughing and looking at me. And then out of nowhere, he pulls out the Biggie Buzzball. And he was already there in the
bring
fridge.
that.
No,
This
it
is
was
there.
just there.
Yeah. Unopened.
It
Yeah.
was sealed though.
It was sealed. And
So
then,
it wasn't just like old motor oil.
no. I mean, that
Well-
stuff doesn't expire, right?
No.
It was
Takes
the one
forever.
thing all weekend that really challenged my religious beliefs. Seeing
How
the
so?
buzzball preloaded into that
Yeah.
fridge, you know.
Like maybe there is a God. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe there is a God. And then Nikki proceeded to tape it to my hands under my own demand. I think I yelled at poor Charlie to get the buzzball and some tape.
Yeah, Eddie Buzzball hands. Yeah.
And you couldn't see this at home, folks, but like behind the camera, there was a dozen games media and PR people like kneeling on the ground like a cult ritual as Jan with his taped buzzball is just anointing them. Just the
Did anyone
communion
get any
ritual
photos of that at
buzzball.
all? Like we, if anyone has
I'm
any
sure.
camera footage?
I skeeted out like a video.
Okay.
Yeah. It warms my heart that there is a still of me pouring a gigantic buzzball into the mouth of one of like the biggest YouTube essayists.
Yeah.
Well, H Bomber guy.
Oh,
Harry
Tom
was
had some of it?
happy.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Dan, you had some of it too, just
On
on top of your burger.
Yeah, that was real fucking gross. Yeah.
Before we move on about the confetti pop thing, it was maybe like the next morning. I was in bed, I was looking at my phone, and I just it just started laughing as hard as I possibly could. I don't know if it was reverberating through the house.
I did hear that. Yes,
All
I
of
was
a
wondering
sudden,
what that was.
You know, the house is a lot of hardwood floors, so it's echoey, and you know the whole thing. So I come downstairs, and I just start showing this clip. If you go back and watch, about 30 seconds after Dan goes down, Grub goes, "Oh man, Dan, did I get you right in the face with that?" And Dan just goes, his mic still within earshot, just goes, "Yep." And it is just, I don't know if it's the timing or it's just the funniest, like, you shot me, yep, you got me kind of thing.
Right.
It is so, I must have listened to it 11 times in a row. I could not stop laughing. How just you're like, yep, you got me. Like, oh man,
It couldn't have been more of a sniper shot. It was just direct right center. And any more above would have probably shoved my glasses into my eyes.
Or it would have been terrible. And I was like, I have terrible aim. Of course I didn't do it on purpose. And then of course after that I do that perfect shot into Danny O'Dwyer's mouth. So now I look like, no, I definitely did it on purpose.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
Happy Pride, by the way. I'm glad that Miller and Danny really hammered it home by playing.
Perfect shot of what, Jeff?
A banana cream.
Okay.
We have a lot of stuff that will be coming up still from SGF. I interviewed Ben Starr. I have a really good interview with Ben Starr.
Heard about
Ben shot it. I was not able. I was carrying a MacGruber DVD at the Death Stranding premiere for Hideo Kojima, and PR had asked me I was like, they want to clear everything with Kojima, obviously. And I was like, all right, well, I want to give him a Gruber. And PR was like, okay, you can do that, but just ask him a couple real questions first. And so I asked him a couple real questions, and he was giving very thoughtful, long enough answers to where PR was like, all right, yeah, we're done. We got to move on. So I wasn't able to give it to him. So next time. Yes.
I'm glad you had fun at Hideo Kojima's red carpet event for himself.
Is that the second time you tried to give him MacGruber?
Yes, I brought a copy of MacGruber to Japan, but I knew he wasn't going to take it there. So.
I'm pretty sure I can say this, but there was a moment, like, you know, they're taking photos at the red carpet, right? And then Hideo Kojima is now flanked by 2 Japanese models. One, I believe, is in the game. And then I'm not going to say who said it, but someone like nearby looks at Hideo Kojima, surrounded by 2 Japanese models, and he just claps his hands and he goes, "Now that's a shot."
Someone who might be friends with Hideo Kojima.
But yeah, that was fun. Any other fun memes from the weekend before we get into the pod?
Everyone will learn a lot about mustard, that's for sure.
Oh man, yeah.
I was like in a thing. I was seeing a game that we can't talk about yet later this week. I don't know. It doesn't matter. And I catch up with all these guys. And I catch up with all these guys, and they're in the media area, and they got like a whole, conclave around them. They're all discussing something, obviously. And Jesse Vitelli looks at me and says, "Just walk away." And he's like, "Just leave." And I'm like, "Oh no, not again." And of course, the curiosity is too insane at that point. And I'm like, "What is it?" And everyone looks at Dan, and then Dan's like, "Have you ever had mustard?" And then I wanted to walk away.
This was the weekend where I think I reached a new level of mutual understanding with Jesse as to how we collectively feel about you, Dan. Where we just sort of, from a culinary point of view, more specifically, but just kind of looking at you and just locking eyes and just being like, when you see someone, you lock eyes and the situation's insane, and you don't have to say it out loud. Your eyes say it all, and it's just sort of like, I know, buddy. It's unbelievable what we're doing here.
Speaking about culinary stuff, before we get into the mustard of it all, I think Eka, the developer behind Dosa Divas,
yes,
instead of taking
hanging out with Eka,
Eka's super dope. Instead of taking the initial bite of the burger, he had George from Pop Agenda come on and take a bite of it. People assumed that George died after taking a bite of the burger because he never came back on set, not knowing that he was just a stunt man.
Right.
Yeah.
My wife was legit mad at me for biting that burger. I got home and she's like, "But the kids were disgusted watching Dan make that, and then they watched you eat it, and they were kind of all mad at you."
It was. I had a tough time watching you cook. I had a tough time.
You had a tough time.
And I had a realization.
Sorry, you're right, Mitch.
I'm gonna try something. I had a realization because, I don't remember if it was on the air or off the air or whatever. We talked about honey, and I was like, I don't know if I'd call honey sweet. And then it got the dumb Dan reaction, and then later I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute, no, there's a phrase, sweet, they're sweet as honey. I knew that. So like I had some like introspection. I'm like, why did I say honey wasn't sweet? I think I say things first, and then if I just like access my actual thoughts and knowledge, I'm like, oh, that's a ridiculous thing to say. I know better than that.
And
then
that's
I realized,
thinking. That's called thinking.
I realized, listen, I'm on the plane yesterday, and my dad's like, when are you leaving LA? And I said, I'm in the air now. And he just goes, it's impossible to text from airplanes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this is this is me just saying thing that like, I'm going to try. I'm going to try to think before I say things.
Admirable.
Listen,
Yeah.
I think it's okay if you say things and then think. As long as the thinking happens at some point, I'm gonna be satisfied, Dan.
And I did when I went to Jan. I was
Yes,
like, no,
I'm
sweeter than honey. I know
fantastic.
that phrase. That's a thing. That is a thing. So yeah.
I'm
He's like a Dreamcast. I'm sorry, chat just said that.
Good.
It sounds like we are flirting with you making progress. It's not good enough for me.
I want to. I am always a work in progress, and I
You know what? Amen, brother.
Yeah, like I just want
cheese.
I want you to see this through, though. I don't want this to be like a little jaunt that lasts for like 48 hours, and then we move on and we regress
I
to
need you
being a
calling me
dumbass.
out. Then I need you calling me out.
Oh,
right.
oh, that won't be a problem, buddy. I mean, what do you mean? That's all we do.
This is great.
You poop on the floor, we rub your face in it, and then 2 steps later, you're like, I think I'm gonna shit on the floor again.
Other good memories, just at, like a bunch of cool people that I hadn't spent a lot of time with before. Mark McDonald.
Oh my God,
like that. They're just so sweet and great. There's so many people like that. It's a cool industry, and we I'm always proud of the party we put on because we invite the cool people and they show up for us.
Yeah, one of my favorite couch segments was having just Jill Grote and Kate Sanchez on the couch, and was just like, wow, look at these like new school of like games journos.
Mm-hmm. Doing things their own way for sure. Yeah, it's awesome to be able to just have them on and have them hang out and want to be a part of it. So yeah, very cool.
Something that I was shooting for when I was looking for the B&B was like I really wanted it to feel like the first ones I did in like the early 2010s, where it really was just like Ryan and Jeff and those guys like in a fucking place that they were also staying at, and they somehow made it the broadcast place. And like the hotel stuff was fun, the Fandom HQ stuff was fun for different reasons, but like I wanted this to feel not shitty, but scrappy,
Yeah.
And it reminded me of those more than any other E3s.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I'll say it. I think it was my favorite SGF.
Oh,
It was mine too. Yeah.
And me too.
Based on all the ones I've been to, yeah, me too.
All right, let's talk about video games. I feel like we were all very polite to each other over the weekend, very understanding, and that meant a lot to me. You know who was not polite or understanding?
Who's that?
Fucking Nintendo, because they decided to launch Switch 2 at the same time as SGF.
Fucking dicks.
Mike, you waited in a shoot line for one.
Yeah, that was great. Me and my brothers were just at the Best Buy together and just waiting in the line, and I actually picked one up there just to like make sure I was super ready with it.
Did you get recognized?
I did get recognized. Well, I got recognized. It was even better is that they recognized AJ, and he really liked that. So
that's cute. I'm happy they recognized AJ. I am less happy that you reveled in the fact that they also they later recognized you of like, oh yeah, the stars here.
Well, I know it's a problem, but no, it was a ton of fun. But yeah, a lot of these consoles lately, I usually play them at a preview event or something or another at some point. But like this was the first time in a while, just opening the box, and there it is for the first time, the Switch 2. And it is still kind of a magical experience. It was a ton of fun getting something new.
I should open mine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got
the only
mine.
one that doesn't have one. Nuts.
Yeah, I have another one I got to go pick up still from Best Buy. They probably don't have it anymore. I bet they give it to someone else. But
You think
yeah,
so?
I don't know. It's I haven't like contacted them, let them know, hey, I'll come get that when I get back from another state. But I did wait in line as well in Orange, right next to Disneyland, and there was a ton of people there, and I didn't have a pre-order, and it was just fine. It was really easy to just go in there and get one. It seemed like it was going to sell it because there was like 500 people at that thing, but I had a really good time. It was neat to get it, and then went back and played it and played Mario Kart all weekend. It's been cool.
Hell yeah. Dan, you finally got yours. Nikki was waiting at their door very patiently, and you got all the peripherals, right? Everyone got like the camera and stuff.
I got the camera, and then I got the camera. I think I've got a box coming with other stuff, but I bought the Pro controller and the GameCube controller thing here. I haven't had a chance to try them yet, but even just the feel of the Pro controller is very, very good.
I'm sorry, I made a face, and people asked what the face was. I saw this very big, daddy long legs just crawling on the wall by my computer, and I had to go and deal with that. Everyone, sorry. Switch 2 is cool. GameCube controller cool too. Yeah, mine was waiting for me when I got back.
Have you used it yet?
I've been just messing around with it. I haven't used it for games yet, but I hear it's good. I hear what's neat is if you play Mario 3D All Stars, like Mario Sunshine, it works perfectly with it now.
With the click and all that stuff?
Yeah, like the click and all that stuff.
That's important. Okay, great.
Very good.
Fantastic. I mean, let's just keep rolling along with like Switch 2 stuff. Mario Kart World. How have y'all been finding your time with it? I know that Grub may be on the slightly more sour side. Slightly.
Jeff.
I'm going back and forth. I go back and forth with it. It's I do think it's more bullshit than Mario Kart's ever been, in not a great way, where it kind of ruins how I like to race in those games, which is to try to win. And now it's like, hey, maybe you should sit back and make sure you actually get the right items so you have a chance to like maybe pull off a last minute comeback. Otherwise, that bullshit is like guaranteed to get you. Now, I don't think that I'm still having fun when I play Knockout Tour. I still think that's a cool mode. Online, I've done it like maybe like 6-7 times. I've never won. I got second a couple times. And so maybe once I win, I'll be like, I like this game because I'm a simple-minded fool like that. But so far, it's just been like, yeah, boy, it feels like I just you cannot escape any of this ever. None of the skill it doesn't seem like it's mattering. Now, I am getting more used to doing things like holding down the jump button while going straight so that you could do that power jump to get up on rails. And I like that that's skill based, and I like that like is the thing you have to do to get into the wall runs. And I've not been taking huge advantage of that yet. So I'm wondering if like as I get better at those things, maybe the game unlocks itself to me a little bit. But so far I'm like, hey, it looks great. It does still play great because it still has basically the same fundamental controls and mechanics as Mario Kart 8. And then there's those extra things on top. And then there's a lot of cool characters in it. So like it's got a lot of the stuff I want. I just think that when I'm trying to win a race, it doesn't feel as good as some of the previous Mario Kart games so far.
I mean, I am loving the chaos, and there are those big, I've seen some people complain about the like wide roads and stuff like that, and I love it because just when there's like 24 cars going and there's just nonsense everywhere, it feels like Fury Road,
Sure.
It's just absolute chaos going down the track, and I do find that there have been times I've gotten ridiculously screwed over and gone from first to 10th right at the finish line or whatever, but that's kind of always been Mario Kart to an extent,
it definitely is. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm pretty good at Mario Kart, and I'm able to get mostly like the gold cups on each one. And if I get screwed over on something, it's like, oh, well, I'm going to play every one of these Grand Prix a million times anyway. So just give me more of a reason to keep going back and trying to get that gold cup. I think knockout mode's great. I can't wait to play some online. I haven't been able to really check out online at all, but I can't wait to like maybe do some streams and do like a room code and just play with like 23 members of the community. Like that sounds awesome.
Ooh. And play with the camera on has been fantastic. Yes. Fantastic. Actually, did that with the kids, and they loved it.
We also tested out the camera. I think Thursday night we played a little bit with AJ Minotti, and it was just absolutely hilarious of how crystal clear while you were racing his portrait looked, and it does a whole NVIDIA cutout thing. But if AJ ran across like a banana peel or got hit by anything, his little portrait would like spin around.
Spin around, yeah. It's really funny, and like I said, the kids loved it, and that was local with where you set up the camera to be on your face when you're sitting on the couch with just one camera set up, and that worked surprisingly well. And I love that idea of, oh yeah, we're playing together all the time. You just assume why would I need a camera, but actually seeing the face in the game, because you're not staring at someone's face while you're playing, seeing their reaction when you do hit them with a shell, it makes it all the more fun. That dog's not real. I'm enjoying a lot of those aspects of it for sure.
And the audio on that camera too, like when we were playing with CJ, it was just like we could hear him totally fine. We had 4 of us all talking to him. It was great.
And that's the mic that's built into the Switch too, actually. So, but still, it was on the other sad of the room. Yeah, he could hear us, like even when like Backlar was in the room adjacent to where we are, and we would test it. Like Backlar shot something at AJ Minotti, and AJ would be like, I can hear him. He does sound far away, but I can completely understand him. So kind of impressive stuff, and just simple, basic use cases start to come together really quick when you're like, okay, yeah, I could see me using this with my family pretty frequently.
And then like Grub, we popped open like the whole game chat window stuff, and then we both kind of tuned it out after a while.
Yeah, exactly. So
which was no
like
problem.
when you are using the cameras, there is no way to make the game then full screen. It's going to be a smaller, slightly smaller window with the cameras below. Now you can minimize those cameras to be as small as possible, basically, and then that'll make the game a little bit bigger. And then put black bars around the side of the game, and that has the cameras on the bottom. And as Jan said, we both got used to it very quickly. I was no longer being like, oh, I'm like, this is a window inside of a window. That's a little annoying. It wasn't annoying after 5 minutes.
And Chad asked if the mic was close to the TV, and yeah, the switch was like right underneath the TV, which was across the room from us. And it all just kind of like, it in the welcome tour game, it tells you all about how the microphones and stuff like cancel out, like it says like, oh yeah, it's going to cancel out the game noises, because it's like it sends the game noises to the microphone so it knows what to cancel out.
And NVIDIA's really good at that stuff. That's all NVIDIA tech. So yeah.
And it worked. It really worked. So yeah, I could see myself using that pretty frequently.
Well, we brought it up. Let's talk about the Switch 2 welcome tour.
Hey, I want to talk about Mario Kart real quick. I'm sorry, I was too busy getting
No, Mitch, go for it.
Please.
I like it. I think
and what's your history with Mario Kart, real quick?
That's the thing. It's like I'm always like Mario Kart's fun. It's never really more than an 8 for me, though, right? It's kind of my thing. So, when people are like, "Oh, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is maybe one of the best games on the Switch," I'm like, I guess. Here's my thing. I really like this one too. But yeah, it's still like, this is an 8. It's still a ton of fun. I hear what you're saying, Jeff, about the bullshit, but to me, maybe it is a little bit worse. But that's always been a part of Mario Kart that I don't necessarily love.
Definitely a part of it.
I wonder if part of me feels like they could fix it by just making blue shells like a 5th as common as they are. Because right now it's like if you're in first place, at some point you are going to deal with a blue shell.
Rewind.
No matter what. The rewind, but it's still, you can rewind to not get hit by the blue shell, but you're still rewinding, which is
still a pretty cool move. Grub, I did it and it felt really cool.
Keeping your momentum is neat. Now that doesn't work online though, but yeah.
But I don't know. Like, the thing I really care about is like, hey, what are these tracks like? And there's just so many cool tracks here. DK Spaceport, the Toad Factory, the Rainbow Road.
Great.
Rainbow Road was awesome. Yeah,
very, very good. The free roam stuff isn't like the most fleshed out, but I still think it is fun.
It's cute more than it is like very exciting. Like
I'm glad it's there. It's not like a huge plus to me.
It seems like they could have done more with it.
Is there online multiplayer free roam?
Anything multiplayer with free roam? I don't think you can even split screen.
I think free roam is like when you're in between matches online, free roam is like an option. I think people are hanging out there, but it's not like, oh, then we can all just go explore this world together. And I was really looking forward to that.
I mean, at the Switch launch, they showed the thing of like, getting like 3 or 4 cards together and doing photo mode and stuff. So I think
Okay, well, let's give that a shot because we haven't had time to test all this stuff yet.
Someone chat said you can split screen free roam. I thought you couldn't, and
that didn't make Patrick Klepek's try. Yeah, children cry. Yeah.
Weird. Okay. Welcome tour. I know everyone makes fun of it, and yes, I agree. It should have been a pack-in. It makes a lot of sense as a pack-in, but remove the price part of it, and I think it's a fun little thing, and it's a fun way to learn about the hardware.
When I was watching you, I was like, wow, what if I could pay for an eye exam?
It is so aesthetic. It's like, it is kind of fun, interesting, but there is something medical about it. I think it's sterile in a weird way.
It's got hospital energy.
There's like that nice there's like ray tracing on those buttons. That looks good as hell. Rotating those around and like sliding around on the screen. That's fun. There's little mini games and stuff there that are very, very simple.
I'm better at them than you all too. Remember that? You all were trying that mouse game.
He was so proud of himself. Like he was just like doing these really satisfied sighs, and I'm like, good for you, Mike. You really
were
did
like taking
very
multiple turns. You couldn't touch 40 of the stars, whatever, while avoiding the mines. And I got my first try and just wiped the floor. God, it's embarrassing to not beat me sometimes.
Me and Grub were good at the finger game.
Yeah, but what about how'd you do in Switch 2?
Wow, bang, got us. Finger blasted. I was more annoyed than that joke of that Jan turning the thing off on us when we were trying to do the finger game with each other.
That was funny.
I think we got a clip of that online.
As soon as like it happened, I'm like, Dan's gonna think it was me, and he was like yelling at me. He's like, "What are you doing, Grub?" I'm like, "There's no way I could have done this. What are you talking about?" And of course, Jan was filming us and making fun of us. I thought that was great, but I'm Like, okay, I thought I would like a welcome tour more than I do. It's I think I'm a little annoyed at like having to like read up on all these things and then take a quiz. I didn't think there'd be so many quizzes.
Well, how else are you going to know that the speakers come out at a diagonal angle?
You're right, diagonal angle. I
didn't
that
know
right.
that.
Oh,
Yeah.
now you do.
Yeah.
I know
I like it. It should have been back then.
I know there's a lot of people. Yeah, there's a lot of people who are like, "Oh, I can't stand these people complaining about paying for this." I'm sorry, you're wrong. Like you're just wrong, and there's a chemical in your brain that forgives certain brands for things more than others, and I want you to see someone and get that chemical perhaps removed from your brain.
I don't know if I've ever seen a more egregious example of, oh, this should have been a Pac-Man game. It looks so bad when you compare it to Astro's Playroom.
Oh my
right?
God.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like, holy
It's
crap.
insane. Yes, it really is.
It's gross. It's actually gross.
Actually, that's a great example, Mike, because like Astro's Playroom kind of did the same thing of like, check out the DualSense
Yes,
and like all this stuff and all that. And it is like you're exploring the hardware and history of PlayStation and stuff. So
Yes.
It's
Even
a
the more basic ones.
You said it.
better
like
version of this.
Like even the more basic ones that like came with the PS4 for like when it had the new controller. That
The
one was much
camera
more
and stuff.
much more slimmed down compared to Playroom. Even that is way more impressive than what Welcome Tour is.
And it was fun. Like
Yeah,
I know you guys are like
Fun with
acting
Welcome
like
Tour.
you're having fun, but like you're basically just you're popping bubble wrap. I don't understand.
That's fun.
Well,
Like,
listen.
you guys are just like, nah. I'm sorry. You're mentally ill on a
You
level.
can
I
see it on
can't.
the screen.
Yeah.
That looked cool.
Yeah.
You don't want
Yeah.
to do a frame rate gift test and then
See,
pay
I-
$10 for
Play
it?
Mario in 4K.
It is fun. I think Welcome Tour is fun,
That's
but it
actually
is
great.
a kind of indignant fun that I
Yeah,
have. with it.
Sure. While we're still talking about the Switch 2, someone threw down here GameCube games. I'm going to assume that is the ones that you can play only Switch 2.
Yeah, because we got Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero, GX, and Wind Waker. I haven't touched Wind Waker yet because that's sort of a bigger thing, but you know, especially at the Warframe Villa, we were throwing down on Soul Calibur 2. And first off, it's nice because you can just turn on the widescreen support, and that just makes it like this widescreen game. And with the way that their emulator is working with some up-resing, whatever they're doing, the game just looks very good. As far as I can tell, the emulation seems really nice. Like when we had N64, at first that emulation was kind of rough. They've been making it better, but the GameCube games just kind of already look great. And plus, there is the per game button mapping that you can do now, and it's not just like, oh, make it so that this button is A on GameCube. You can even do some like button combinations depending on the game. So like in Soul Calibur 2, like hitting like both of the maybe like attack buttons or something at the same time is difficult on a normal controller because it was designed for the weird beans and A button there.
Yeah,
There you
yeah.
go, Dan. So like, but here it's like, well, you could just map that to the left shoulder button was
Or the right stick. Yeah.
yeah, but like the left shoulder button didn't exist on the GameCube, so that's kind of a free button now. So that kind of helps out a lot.
And the default is fucked up when you're playing with the Pro controller because like the Pro controller face buttons are more like a Dreamcast, and I'm extremely used to playing Soul Calibur with the Dreamcast layout, the first one. So I was able to go in and just be like, no, just make this feel like the Dreamcast one, and now it feels right. So
And it does it per game.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not going to mess up the other GameCube games. Yeah, that's great.
yeah, it's
And
awesome.
Soul Calibur 2 is just still a very good video game. It is we played a bunch with each other. Even last night, I was just going through that Weapon Master mode
Yep.
or whatever
I was
it's
doing that on
called.
the plane. I unlocked Yoshimitsu. Yeah.
Yeah, same. And it's just like, gosh, this is just the best 3D fighting game still. I love it.
Did you unlock the armor for Link or the weapon for Link that helps him heal that my friend used to cheat when we first played Soul Calibur 2 the first time?
Oh, that sucks.
He's like, come over our house and we're gonna play the Weapon Master mode. And Noah knew what it was, and he's like, he kept choosing Link with this certain sword, and he kept beating us. I'm like, he felt like he should have lost that one. What happened? And then I finally noticed, like, his health is regenerating. What the fuck?
That's messed up.
So I picked that Link character, and then I beat him. It was good.
But gosh,
speaking
FGX
about-
also just gorgeous still.
Yeah.
Like that looks so freaking good. So
It's awesome.
yeah, the implementation of the GameCube stuff seems very good.
Yes.
Speaking
And
about
Getting
okay.
just real quick and getting the GameCube
Yeah, I saw
controller is pretty cool because having the sticks or the triggers be analog is important for something like F-Zero, where I like to like sort of feather that to jut left and right a little bit.
Speaking about Link, Dan Reichert, you quickly tested Tears of the Kingdom on the Switch 2.
Yes, just very briefly, just kind of running around a little bit, and
Same.
it's significant.
It's
is
nuts.
Yeah, it runs so much better. It looks so much better. Like I'm going to play through Breath of the Wild again on this thing.
I don't think there's ever been a time where I've been so used to game running at like 30 frames per second or lower, and then so that when I finally played it at 60 frames per second and they're upscaling it to 4K or whatever they're doing, that it actually looks kind of weird. Like I'm actually a little bit weirded out by how good it looks and how smooth it is. It's like, no, this is like too realistic now. Yeah, it's incredible the jump that game gets.
Yes.
I'm really surprised by it.
Chat saying the Zelda Notes thing is cool too. Is that which app do I need for that? Because I'd love to try that.
Is that the Nintendo app?
The Nintendo app, which I actually have found to be pretty useful, because after Twitter was going to charge these companies $40,000 a month or whatever to have people upload videos, they took that out. So you can't just upload your stuff directly to social media. So for a while on Switch, you would have to do this thing where if you want your video from the Switch to your phone, you have to take a picture of a QR code and connect your phone directly to the Wi-Fi of your Switch. It was annoying. Now, anytime you take a screenshot or a video, you can just upload it automatically to the Switch app, or you can actually have all of them just automatically upload in the background to the Switch app, and they'll be there for 30 days. Yeah, it's really
that's
handy.
really cool.
Man.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I can manage to pick up a Switch 2 in like the next 2 weeks, I'd be really interested to maybe try and circle back to Pokemon Scarlet Violet.
I just
huge improvement.
installed that last night, so I'm going to go back to that because that was the first time I just dropped. First off, a mainline Pokemon game, but second off, a game largely because the performance and graphics were so bad. So yeah. I'd love to see if I can get into it again.
And there are a lot of games that Nintendo didn't say anything about that have been running better. Obviously, there's the ones that like Link's Awakening where they're like, there's some improvements.
Oh,
and they didn't mention frame rate, but of course the frame rate just completely smoothed out. It looks and runs great now.
I think a lot of people dropped Echoes of Wisdom and maybe go back. So I think that gives a ton of fun, and now it's just running smoothly. I think it's worth going to.
And there's just a huge handful of games that are like that, especially even the ones that were like locked at 30 frames per second. They were probably also using a dynamic resolution, and now they'll just max out at 720p, or some of them max out at 1080p even on handheld mode, because they were like, oh, we'll sample 1080p and we'll downscale to 720p for that screen. So now they just run natively at 1080p. There's a huge list that people are compiling on a Google sheet somewhere, and it's just like dozens and dozens of games that run better now.
I might want to check out the Splatoon 3 DLC too then.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's a roguelite mode or whatever in there.
Chat says Cruise and Blast runs at 60 now.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
I'm gonna play that. Yeah.
Gotta try that.
Gosh. Yeah. Boy, in general, I'm really happy with my Switch too.
Good.
I like, especially this modern era. Like, I know people are like, Switch Pro, right? And I'm like,
but what? So what?
No consoles now, really. Like, that kind of falls flat to me. Like, I get that when we were having that conversation when we got the PlayStation 5s and the Xbox Series XS, but yeah, obviously, we're in a Moore's Law is dead kind of world now. I think they maybe could have done some stuff like, I get why you keep the UI the same, but it's like, that's a big part of maybe why some people don't feel like this is as much of a new console leap as it could be. But that's sort of just aesthetics at the end of the day. Yes. This is a huge upgrade as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that's basically a Switch Pro, because I just want them to focus on making the games the big new thing. And now this will force them to have to do that. They cannot rely on the excitement of, oh, this is a new way of playing games, or here's some stupid new gimmick. This is like, no, it's that again. So if you want people to care, you got to put out a new Mario that matters. You have to put out a new Zelda that matters, a new Metroid that matters. So yeah, that's where I'm excited.
Fantastic. Well, I think it's now time to talk about the video games that we actually checked out at Summer Game Fest. A couple of us,
some of them that we can talk about. There's still a few that are embargoed.
The ones that we can talk about at least. I think Lego Party's great. A couple of us played Lego Party.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Like, imagine Mario Party, but not like annoying.
I mean, but you have to say it does just take every Mario Party thing.
Yes, but it's not annoying.
It did seem like they were
annoying
smooth
is
it
part
off.
of the charm.
You didn't seem to think that when we did the Demon Slayer one, where you're like, this just doesn't have Mario in it.
No, that just sucked. No. Lego Party doesn't have Mario in it, but like, I have to admit, it is snappier. It moves a lot faster. Like, it does, one of the things people hate about Mario Party traditionally is just like, it takes a long fucking time to kind of go through every shop thing and everything. And like this one, everything just kind of moves really quickly. We played a full game, and it said six rounds. It said to expect 45 minutes. It felt like more like a half hour maybe or so. But the mini games were a lot of fun. They were all very simple. Does the exact same Mario Party thing where it takes you to the practice screen, everyone readies up. It's like every Mario Party thing. You're getting studs and bricks instead of coins and stars. You've got a banana man with a phone that makes monkeys attack you instead of a boo. It's dice, but it's not dice. It just shows the numbers kind of slightly.
Yeah, that was the one thing I wish they did borrow from Mario Party. Actually,
actual dice. Yeah,
I don't know why we're not doing that, but sure. Yeah, no one's ever found a cube inside the Lego world. I guess.
Yeah, it's a pressure luck.
That's Nikki's joke, not mine. But yes.
Yeah, and Nintendo copyrighted dice. Yeah, that's
right. That's why D&D had to make a 20-sided die.
Right.
Yeah.
Just fun gimmicks where it's like you're climbing a volcano in the level we did, and there's like a giant like turkey on a spit roast at the top, and if you get to the top, it like launches it down and it falls on someone's head like Mr. Bean, and it steals either a bunch of studs or a full-on brick.
Like that happened to me, and it was fun. If it happened in Mario, I'd be upset. This was more fun.
Why? Why? What's the difference?
Because it's like I think I enjoy and maybe this will sort of wear off. Maybe it's just the honeymoon period, but I do think like the cuteness and the sort of like twee Lego stuff it's just more forgiving, and I'm just not. I don't know. There's something about the Mario stuff that bothers me. Maybe because it's you. It could be a Dan thing.
Yeah,
sure.
Right.
I was gonna say, do you perhaps like Lego more than Mario?
In its own way, I don't like finding.
No one ever makes fun of you when you say Lego. You say Lego, right?
Yeah, it's true. Right. And man, we had Frushtick on the couch, and I could have had my Mario.
You didn't
guy.
get back up there. Yeah, you messed up.
We know what he would say. He's from the East Coast too.
No, yeah,
you're both wrong. It's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, it could be because of Dan. It could be like you said. Mario Party makes a freaking meal at every goddamn round in a way that sucks and is terrible. Yeah. But this is great. Love it.
An interesting thing about Lego Party is you can have an item that will send you backwards down the map instead of forwards, which say you skip past the star or the golden brick and it's only a couple spaces behind you, you could actually go backwards instead of forwards. So that's pretty neat.
Nice.
I do want to say that we had Finelli helping us out do Lego Party before, but he had to go dip to an appointment and he was in last place. So I took over, and then your boy got bricked up and got the golden brick at the end.
Dude, the best was I saw him like an hour later, and I hear faintly someone being like, Jeff. I'm like, what? Who's calling me? And it's Jason, and he comes up to me, he goes, "Who won? Did I win? I said, "Yeah, oh yeah. Jan took over. He's your spot. You won. You share this, so you have to cut that trophy in half and send it to him."
I will gladly share that trophy.
Wisdom of Solomon.
Finelli.
Yeah.
Finelli, what a great dude, huh?
Real quick, everyone, shut up. I'm buying Mind's Eye.
I just did too.
What?
It is interesting. It's one I didn't realize it was out because like a few weeks ago, I got an email being like, hey, fill out this form if you want to get review code for Mind's Eye. And I was like, all right, I'm curious. And I filled it out. It never came. So that's not
yes,
a great
I did
sign.
it too. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to do a quick look at that.
Oh, we're gonna get in that ass for sure. Yeah.
Let's do a spoiler cast for Mind's Eye.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Mind's
Eye week here on Giant Bomb.
So wait, so they're just not sending it out to anyone
The game's out now. And I never got code.
It's not just that. Like half of the C-suite left. They were ghosting big appointments or big appearances they were supposed to be making over the weekend. Leslie Benzies was supposed to go on something and he didn't do it. Kind of left some people in the lurch.
This was like a very last minute thing. So we'll have to check, but it sounds like it was just delisted from Steam and then came back up at $10 more expensive.
Wow, let's go.
Shut the fuck up.
Let's see what's going on with this fucking game.
I like IO Interactive, who is publishing this. They did not make that, but they are going to have to learn some lessons from this, I think. So we'll see.
Oh, boy. Well,
this is their first time publishing something, I think. So, it feels like it.
I think it shows that no one is invincible, but Mikey may be invincible because he played Invincible Versus. Is that what they're calling it?
Yes, Invincible Versus. Yep, that's the name there.
That's to imply it's a 3v3 fighter. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did check this out over at Microsoft's setup adjacent to SGF. Yeah, 3v3 fighting game. So immediately makes me think of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. You definitely have that flavor in there. But there's a little bit of Mortal Kombat here, specifically Mortal Kombat 1, I think, because it is a very aerial game with the juggles, but also every character has dashes that can be like 8 directional air dashes. some characters like Adam Eve can just straight up enter a flying state. And then also it's very Mortal Kombat because it is a very bloody game. And if you finish, you don't have fatalities per se, but if you finish a character with a super move or something else, you will, make their heads explode or rip their arms off, that kind of stuff, right? So it can be very gory and violent. But like those kind of Capcom versus games, the pace is very fast, right? And a lot of big combos. And, because it's 3v3, you can call in your characters as assists. So they can come out and do a move. But if you do it during a combo, then they will just pick up the combo. So you can kind of extend your combos a lot. There's even an in-game meter to make sure you're not just comboing forever. But there also are things you can do defensively to try to stop the combo. You kind of counter the moment they bring in one of their partners with one of yours to stop it there. Other things like that. So, yeah, I was having fun with it. I'm not like a giant Invincible fan, right? Mikey, a bit more sunshine and rainbows than ripping.
Yeah, I was wondering, like, the violence, was it kind of like being like, ugh, because out of context that stuff can be so in your face.
It's a little weird. It's weird because like I'm just so used to Mortal Kombat, but even Mortal Kombat 1 these days, I'm like, this stuff looks so realistic. I don't know if I really extract joy from this anymore. No, it is just kind of weird to me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But something about it being a bit more cartoon looking almost made it, I guess, more palpable. I suppose. Yeah.
They had the voice cast from the show.
J.K. Simmons just straight up in that game.
I couldn't play as Omni-Man. I think they had Invincible, Adam Eve, then two people I didn't recognize. There's like a roster down there. A lot of it was blanked out. I was kind of curious because it's even like with the blanked out people, like, is that going to be the full roster? Because if it's a 3v3 game, you kind of need a lot of characters.
There are a lot of characters in that show that they could pull from. So I would imagine that's probably just an early glimpse because they want to. Probably. Because was it grayed out or was it blacked out so you couldn't even see the characters?
I can't remember, but I think it's maybe, yeah, it's a good point. So probably can't judge anything there. But, what I can judge is, was it fun? And yeah, it was fun. So,
and this is Double Helix. This is the team that made Killer Instinct before Iron Galaxy took it over.
Mike, I got a question for you. Oh, Dan, go ahead.
Just real quick, I'm just seeing screenshots from Matt Piscatella and Danny O'Dwyer. It looks like right now the Steam page for Mind's Eye now has two options. One is buy Mind's Eye for $59.99, add to cart. The other one is buy Mind's Eye for $79.99, add to cart.
It doesn't say like deluxe edition or anything.
They both say exactly buy Mind's Eye. Just, do you want to give us $20 more?
That's a good deal.
Sure. All right, yeah,
fun. Okay, cool.
It's gonna be like that I'm Rich app on iPhone where people are like, well, I just got to get the more expensive one. I don't know what this is. Yeah.
Yep.
It says when I look at it, it does say buy Mind's Eye Deluxe Edition for $80.
They might have fixed it, but when there's screenshots. Yeah, well, this seems to be going well.
Yep.
Good launch, right? Yeah. Good kickoff to Mind's Eye week, huh?
Yep.
Yeah. Mike, I was gonna ask, since in my experience with the Marvel versus games, I'm kind of just button mashing, right? I've never taken time to properly learn. People are semi-concerned with that other Marvel versus game coming up, and this
from the Arc System Works,
having to learn 4 characters. Like, how essential is it to actually learn a character rather than like leaning on a main and just having the assists?
I mean, it's so hard because it kind of depends on who you're playing against. I will say in this game, it's not like, the quarter, circle, push a button for specials. There's 3 attack buttons. It was like X, Y, and B. And then A was the special button, kind of more like a Smash Bros. Thing. In different directions, makes you do different specials. Even doing the supers wasn't, like do a double quarter circle A button thing. It was just push A and B together. So there are some things being simplified there that might make having to learn 3 characters easier. And some of it is universal too, right? Like, every character has a simple combo, which is just smashing the X button, and it'll eventually lead to using a level 1 super. There's also kind of like a standard combo of going to light attack, heavy attack, special attack, this button, right? So like X, Y, B, A, kind of doing the tour around the face buttons too. So I think that this game is definitely aware of that. So there is some universal stuff that can at least get you started with each character.
Awesome. Let's continue down the Marvel adjacent train, Mikey, because you got to check out, I'm kind of jelly, Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
Yes, this is the new beat 'em up from Tribute Games, published by .emu. This is a team that brought us Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge, which was another retro pixelated beat 'em up. I liked that game a lot. So I was looking forward to this. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think if you liked that game, you're going to be into this. What's neat is, looking at the trailer, I'm like, there's kind of some Marvel versus Capcom inspirations here. And there's more of that than I thought, because you pick 2 characters and there's a tag system in this as well.
Whoa,
So,
really?
Didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's
So you can,
cool.
so you can call in your other character to, do a move, but you can also just swap to them whenever you want to. So
That's cool because there's so many characters about. Oh, I like this one, but I also want to play as that one. That's neat that they give you the chance to do that.
right, there's some of these games like that Power Rangers beat 'em up where all the characters basically kind of feel the same.
Yeah,
But here it can be radically different who you are. Like some characters have access to certain tools like flying, like grabs, like range attacks that other characters don't. So you kind of do want to make maybe a more balanced team that can air juggle into a combo and extend it that way. So yeah, and then on top of just the great pixel art and everything, it was just a very fun time.
Oh yeah. When is that supposed to come out? This year?
I don't think too long from now. That's a good question. Yeah,
It felt like it should be pretty soon. I'm not exactly sure.
Because they announced 2 new characters during SGF, Rocket, Raccoon, and She-Hulk. I didn't get to play as them. I played as Captain America and Spider-Man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
New York boys over there.
Yeah, that's right. Release date still just says 2025 right now, so no specific date.
The art style with Marvel Cosmic Invasion looks really sharp, just as sharp as Shinobi Art of Vengeance.
This is another one I played. This is probably my favorite game of the show. But
It looked awesome. I played a couple minutes of it. I was watching Mike play though. It looked awesome.
Right. And so this is, Sega teaming up with Lizard Cube, who did Streets of Rage 4, which was very similar. Like, hey, let's bring back an old Sega franchise. And it's going to have just the coolest looking 2D art you've seen. And this game looks even better. Just the characters and the backgrounds. It's absolutely gorgeous. And then it's just this really slick 2D ninja action game that, definitely has a lot from those old Shinobi games, but its own flavor as well. Like those old Shinobi games, they're practically kind of run and guns. It's really about throwing the shurikens. And this one, you still have those, but it's a bit more limited when you get them. They're powerful, but you kind of want to use them at appropriate times. Every enemy has this stun gauge on top of just health. And when you get enemies in that stun gauge, then you can push these buttons so you do an insta kill on them. And if you can even kind of put multiple enemies in that stun gauge, so when you do the insta-kill move, you zoom to each of them and take them out. You get more resources and things when you do that. It's not a Metroidvania, but every level is kind of like not Metroidvania, but you have the map. There's some bonus areas. There's some places you may not be able to access, so you come back later with new power-ups, that kind of thing. The combat just feels very good. Very slick. You're dodging, a bit of dodge slop, and I'm pro dodge slop. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Right. So, just all these other tools with these other abilities you get. Like later in the demo, I had one that kind of was putting me in a counter state. So there's like this big, kind of I don't know, police guard enemy that is basically behind a shield. So he does this really slow, deliberate attack. So okay, I'll use my my water Nippon or whatever thing. There, it was just a good way to deal with most of his health. But yeah, it's just exactly what I was hoping for. Very fun, exciting, beautiful 2D Shinobi. Really like that franchise on the Genesis. Glad to see it back.
Yeah, I played it for a couple minutes. They put me in the arcade mode after Mike played, and I got my when I was watching, I'm like, does it play like Mark the Ninja? And then I've got my hands on it. It's like not quite. It's maybe a bit faster paced than that, and I just always felt like I was in complete control. And you're standing in front of an enemy, you can tell when they're about to attack. You can dodge roll on the other side of them, then they complete their attack in the wrong direction. You hit them in the back, the guy's got a shield, so you just want to time that up and make sure that you're get in there doing your attacks and don't get too greedy. Everything's a little bit from soft inspired these days, so you feel a little bit of that in that combat system. Not a ton, just a touch. And I just thought, yeah, this feels amazing immediately. And then because of it being Lizard Cube, it looks fantastic. It just, everything you do looks so cool. So watching Mike play was awesome. Getting my hands on it and realizing it played as good as it looked was very encouraging.
I'm interested to see how Shinobi and Ragebound will do against each other. I think they're both gonna just kind of amplify one another. Yeah,
Ragebound was there. I didn't get the.
Me neither.
Oh, it was.
I heard good things about it though.
Something that was there that Jeff Grubb you got to play is Directive 8020.
Yeah, this is the new Supermassive game, and I've got a little bit of a history with Supermassive, not a ton, but this is their one where it's a sci-fi game. You're on the moon, I believe. Yeah, I think you're on the moon. Maybe that was Pragmata. You're doing some shit in space. Doesn't matter. And it is still one of their narrative cinematic games, but every once in a while, there's an action game component to it. And now you're running around and trying to avoid a giant monster, and it's got a scan tool so you can see where the monster is on the other side of the wall, so you can kind of avoid them. And I did bad, and I didn't avoid him. And he attacked my guy, and I messed up the QTE scene because I was not ready for it. And so I failed that. And then the game just kept continuing as like, okay, well, you failed that now, and now that's what happened there. And now let's get back into the cinematics and the normal QTEs and the choices so that you can deal with the ramifications of what happened in that action scene. I thought that was really cool. I think that's a really good idea for this kind of game. Something like some action scenes that can break up the pacing, but it doesn't break the idea of what these games are, where something happens and you have to live with the consequences. The cool thing about this one, the guy sat down after I was finishing the demo and he was like giving someone else a demonstration. He ran over. He was like, "You got to see this before I let you go." And it's the decision map, the decision tree is fully accessible if you want it. So at any time when you're playing, you make a decision, you can rewind and look at the tree and be like, "Here's what you did, and you went up in this way. Now, do you want to immediately go back and see what would happen if you did it the other way?" And so you can fully sort of explore every possibility of the game on your first playthrough if that's how you like to play. Now, they have a hardcore mode, or whatever they're going to call it, where it's just going to play the way it traditionally does, where it doesn't tell you when you can rewind. Yeah. It doesn't tell you what the decisions are. You just have to live with everything. So if you want the purest experience, that is there. But I thought that was really cool because I know there's a lot of people who are going to be like, "Oh my God, I messed that up," or "I want to see what else could have happened there." And in every moment you can do that. So yeah, it just seems like they have really thought through what their games are and have like taken the next step of making sure that people can explore that the way that they want. And then I thought it looked pretty good. They do that thing where they get the real actors and there's a lot of familiar faces, people whose names I don't necessarily know, but I've seen them. They're character actors who have shown up in a million things, and they look as good as ever. The acting and the storytelling was really good. So it won me over for sure, and I definitely like the idea of having these action scenes break up the pacing. It seems like a really good idea for what Supermassive was already doing.
Yeah, that's cool because I have always wanted, like, after finishing one of those games, to go back and make the alternative choice, but having to go through the whole rigmarole of all those decisions again. That's nice to be able to just like, all right, let me just quickly rewind and check it out. I believe the main actress is Lashana Lynch from Captain Marvel. That's dope.
Right. That's what it was. Yes, exactly. Yes. And then she's got like a mentor who I've seen in a million things as well. A bunch of other actors that are like very, very, very face familiar to me.
You know whose face is very familiar to me, Grub?
Who?
Tony Hawk.
Yeah.
And I'm a little jelly because you and Mikey got to check out the demo. I mean, I could have just grabbed your Steam Deck from you and tried it out.
Well, I had more than the demo. I actually got to
okay,
play...
Mike, we get it.
Yeah,
You're best friends with Tony now.
Yeah, I had like an hour with the full game at Xbox. Record some footage. Maybe we'll do something with that. But yeah, Jeff, maybe you should talk about the demo first because that was Foundry, right?
Yes. So there's a demo if you pre-order the game, which was a little confusing for a moment. Like, where is this demo? They said it'd be out today, and I went looking for it. I couldn't find it. First, they're not. It doesn't seem like they're putting it on Switch at all. But if you pre-order the game on other platforms, including Steam, the demo pops up in your library. I went to go find that. I downloaded it, and it's you can play as Doom Guy. I think maybe because I pre-ordered the deluxe edition. You can play as Doom Guy, Tony Hawk, or that very famous Brazilian lady skater who's very good. I can't remember her name. I'm sorry. And it was I played as Doom Guy, and of course, you can pull out the chain when he's grinding and stuff like that, or the chainsaw, and he's got his other weapons, and it just looked pretty cool. But it's just Foundry. There are no mission objectives you can complete. You're just sort of skating around, but it looks and plays great on the Steam Deck, and I'm so ready for that game. But Mike, you got to see a lot more. How are you feeling about it?
Yeah, so I got to jump between all those levels from 3 and 4. I think the best part is the new levels that they added are really good. Specifically, so there's that water park, and that's just such a great idea for a level. This abandoned water park.
Yeah, but what do you have for Jeff Bakalar?
What do I have? Jerf. Because the other one is a pinball level where you're inside a pinball machine.
Calm down, Jeff.
See a giant Tony Hawk playing it as you're going through it.
For audio listeners, Jeff's plunger is going insane right now.
Totally vertical. Yeah.
That's not pinball. You can't be vertical. Just need you to know that you must be horizontal.
Always vertical.
It's like a diagonal.
It's a slant.
When I go to bed at night and I have the best kind of fantasy night dreams.
What? Where are we going here?
Listen.
Okay.
He's going vertical.
That's how stories work. Listen. My dream, my fantasy is to be a tiny little skater boy as a gigantic over-the-top Tony Hawk controls every waking moment of my life.
Well, congratulations.
The people behind the game heard that cry, and now I will be able to live that fantasy in real life. Thank you, Tony Hawk.
I'm so glad to hear that the new levels are great because
Yes.
I would be perfectly happy with just like give me 3 and 4 playing. Like I'm not even that miffed by the 4 thing, like changing.
Yeah. I almost wish I had played 4 more recently so I can know how I felt about the 2-minute timer on those levels. But just playing it, I was like, yeah, this feels good. That's fine. I'm not. Some people might miss that. Bigger Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 fans than me,
fine.
but I don't think it's gonna bother my enjoyment of.
It's going to be fine, I promise.
At all. And all those Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 levels that I love, right? Suburbs and Canada,
Alcatraz,
3, the cruise ship, they all look so freaking Airport. It all just looks awesome, and the game just plays so great. I got to play as Michelangelo from the Turtles.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and that was fun. He's got this great this was a grinder or manual where he's just spinning in his shell constantly. And then I gave that move to I think Bam Margera, so he was just spinning around on his skateboard too. These games are just super good, and these remakes seem just as high quality as 1+2 did. And again, those new levels are so good. I'd be so happy if they do just get to make a new game with all new levels after this. I'd be really down for that.
Is it just going to be Mikey as the turtle?
Just Mikey, no other.
Yeah, they only confirmed Mikey. Yeah,
or just the goofball who doesn't take his job seriously.
Okay. Yeah. A cartoon turtle that is just not deserving of his job, according to Dan. Right.
Donatello is a cartoon turtle, and he takes his job seriously.
Mikey, you were taking your job seriously because I think you may have played the most games at SGF.
Check out GameSpeed.com soon, everybody, for some previews.
I've got
interviews.
3 I can't talk about. I think Mike's got a handful he can't talk about yet as well.
Yeah, just a couple.
I think Lego Party is the only time I touched a controller over the weekend. Mike, you also got the chance to check out Grounded 2. Speaking about a little man inside a pinball, you were a little child inside. Where are they now?
Where are they now? But yes, Grounded 2. This is interesting for me because I actually never played Grounded 1. I didn't get around to it. I don't know how I feel generally about these survival games. Sometimes I'm not sure why I'm so iffy about them. Because then I play them like, oh, these are video games. These are fun, right? It's just, I don't know. I was having a good time with this. It still very much has that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids vibe that you want to it. It's still early 90s setting even, right? Even though I know there's a multiplayer focus here, the demo is just single player, and it was the beginning. But I think the beginning is very good and onboarding, giving you a bit of the plot stuff, teaching you the mechanics, but not in a slow or boring way. Like even just by the end of the demo, I felt like it had opened up a good amount. I was like, okay, I'm already have a crafting table, and I'm already kind of like, going around and getting resources, getting this Omni tool, which can be upgraded to do all sorts of things like chopping down big grass stalks, so you get materials that way. Crafting a sphere so I can fight all the ants. The thing here is that you're in a park instead of a backyard now, so there'd be a little bit more variance in what you're seeing in that big area. Also got to mount an ant, and I guess that's a new feature in this one. Not like that, Jen. So got to ride around the ant, and that was fun because I could then
I thought you said aunt, and I was like, what kind of game are we doing?
Step on. But no, it was fun doing that because you can carry all sorts of extra stuff and attack, and just kind of felt like you were a mega version of yourself when you're on the ant. We had a group interview with the director, executive producer, and it was a pretty Rebecca Valentine was there, Steve Totilo was there asking these important questions, and it was my turn. I was like, now the sequel to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, they just made everything. They got a big thing instead of small thing. Did you not explore that for the sequel? And Totilo was like, Mike, that is an excellent question. Like, thank you very much. Yeah, I had a good time with it. I think I would really enjoy playing that, even alone or with friends. So I'm going to be excited to check out that full release.
We should check out Grounded 2 when that comes out.
I think so. I think we should really commit to that one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Remember when the baby in Honey I Blew Up the Kid grabbed the hard rock guitar from the casino and played it and it made guitar sounds?
Burned into my brain,
yeah.
Of course it made guitar sounds. Why wouldn't it make guitar sounds, Dan?
It's a shoot guitar, right?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Sonic Racing Crossworlds. Grub, Mike, you two got to check this out.
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart, and then I played this, and this game felt much faster. I think this is a big thing that I noticed. They also are really, really emphasizing customizing your kart to kind of an insane degree, where there is one system of parts for your kart where it's like you can customize it that way, and then there's another like badge system where you can basically change how your kart behaves on a fundamental level, where I set it up so here, if I run into somebody, I get a little bit of a boost. And that was one badge I attached. I could attach something completely different, so it's like it worked completely, so that like offensive weapons were more powerful or something like that. And I mean, it's cool, but it felt a bit overwhelming for a kart racer. But I mean, these games do tend to have long lives. So at the same time, if you're going to be playing it for 5, 6, 7 years, maybe you want something that deep to keep it interesting. I didn't really even like having the kart or choosing my kart parts in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Mm-hmm. So I'm not sure if I want something that's even deeper than that it matters even more. But at the very least, it does create the opportunity to play the game how you want. And I was playing it so when I would run into enemies, I would get a little bit of a boost. And that's like, okay, that's just how I'm going to play this game now. And it was neat from that perspective. And then the Crossworlds element of going through these teleport like portals, going on the other side, seeing what's going to be on the other side. It was neat to like see a little bit of a preview, like there's a little bit of a shimmer on the portal, so you could see what's going to happen. You're like, oh, I think I'm going to go over here and see the the ship or whatever. And you go through, and it's seamless and it looks really cool. And I don't know, it felt really good to me. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, that's like the gimmick with the portals is, you have a racetrack and maybe you're in the jungle, but for every track, lap 2 is going to be going through one of these portals, and then it's kind of a different roster of tracks that you do for that one lap.
It's its own set of like roster for the portal at lap, right? So is that what you're saying? Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you do that lap, then you're back into the normal track for it. So I think that aspect is pretty, and whoever's in first gets to kind of pick between either a portal you can clearly see or a mystery one. So like you get some agency if you're in first place. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I thought the racing felt really good. I get just a little bit annoyed with this game because it's not Sonic Racing Transformed, where it's kind of like all this Sega stuff and a big celebration of Sega.
Yeah.
Like it's mostly Sonic, and we know there's some guest characters coming. They announced like Joker and Ichiban and whatnot, so that's cool. But
Hatsune Miku, come on, Mike.
Yeah, and all this Minecraft stuff. But like, Racing Transformed had an afterburner level. You're on these aircraft carriers, and it was so cool.
This one's got like a generic like battleship carrier level,
right? It's yeah, exactly. It's like, well, we're so close here. Why didn't we just do that? There's
a level but the Crossworlds suggests that to me. Where it's like, we're Crossworlds, we're going to bring all these things together. What's the point of that?
Right,
not to bring the Sega things together.
So that was a cool, but it's like, here's generic dinosaur place, or my favorite level was in a museum, like a natural history museum. That's great. Sega just published 2 Point Museum, right? Like there's an opportunity there to just have it be that thing. So like that, like frustrates me and confuses me a bit. But the game itself is definitely fun. It does a good job of being like Mario Kart, but definitely having its own flavor, it feeling a bit different, having fun with the Sonic stuff. But even then, it's like every character from Sonic Riders is in here, and I'm like, we're having all these people, and I can't, play as Joe from Shinobi
or the Altered Beast. Yeah,
give me altered. There's Echo. We got the fucking dolphin and Mario Kart now. Just give me Echo floating over a car.
Yeah.
What would you be satisfied, like a fish tank on wheels?
Yes, that would be even better.
Satisfied is not the word.
Fully vertical, son.
Whoa. Okay, all right.
If it was just Echo in a fishbowl with wheels. That would be the greatest thing I ever saw. Maybe a little sad, actually.
Would that have a soul? That would count as having a soul?
Oh, Echo definitely has a soul. Echo might be the only video game character with a soul.
That's fair.
You know what? I could see it, Mark. I could see it. All right.
Yeah.
A couple more games before we head to our first break of the show, and then we'll get to news. I think I'm most curious about this game. And Mike, you played it. This is a Pac-Man game, kind of. Shadow Labyrinth.
Yeah, Shadow Labyrinth is the edgy Pac-Man Metroidvania. So yeah, I was kind of excited about this. It's sort of based on that. Well, not that Next Level did an episode sort of based on this. Really, when they realized it was in development, or that Next Level, Secret Level, I think.
Secret Level, yeah.
That was yeah.
One with the Concord episode.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's like you're this kind of guy with a sword, but Pac-Man is sort of always there, and he'll help you by when you defeat an enemy. They do drop pellets, and Pac-Man will eat them up. But also, if you defeat an enemy, you push right buttons. There's this kind of monster version of Pac-Man that will then like grab the corpse and devour it.
Good. It's about time Pac-Man killed somebody.
Pac-Man's finally killed somebody, right? As the dude, you have a sword and you have this grapple. So there's a lot of platforming around the grapple. I got to this segment that reminded me a lot of Prince of Persia Lost Crown, where it was just this very intense platforming section. And it's optional, but you got a cool reward if you're able to do it. And I love that stuff. There's these other different platforming sections where you get to these walls and suddenly you kind of turn into Pac-Man. He's kind of, going to waka, waka, waka. It's not really a maze per se, but he's sort of moving on his own unless you push a break button. You're kind of jumping between different platforms, doing a different thing there. But it's also a bit more of like other Namco stuff. Like at one point I found an enemy from Dig Dug. And to attack him, I shot the grapple hook at him. But then I kept pushing it and inflated him until he blew up. Yeah, cool. Just like in Dig Dug, right? You can also kind of enter this like rage mode where you do turn into the monster Pac-Man for a little bit. So now you're just like really wailing on enemies, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just feeling like a good Metroidvania with all this weird dark Pac-Man stuff. And that's cool. An excellent flavor to have there.
That's what I want. All these years they've been like, how do we expand on Pac-Man? What do? We put him in like a bigger screen with more idiot. Like, no. Murder.
Yeah.
Murder.
I felt so bad for the people giving the demo to me because I couldn't stop making terrible jokes. Like,
I don't
show I'm like, is this gonna be Mrs. Pac-Man? There's like a guy in a lab coat who like looks sexy. I'm like, is this sexy Professor Pac-Man? Like,
oh my God, are you insufferable at this time?
I know, absolutely.
Is that who you are?
And I kept talking. I was like, I'm pretty good at Metroidvanias. And I would do something. I'm like, right? See how good I am? Like, yeah, you're pretty
Listen, this is an open letter to all of Games PR.
Yeah, we're sorry.
I need to see Mike's dossier. I need to see exactly the
He's the bad boy of games media. What do you expect?
Something tells me those words are not written on the dossier.
I think that character may still actually be Professor Pac-Man or something, though.
I gotta see what I mean. Obviously, we know what certain words are guaranteed to be there.
Yes,
but I want to get into the real nitty gritty. Nope, I wasn't thinking Apple, but we'll get there.
Man-child.
Jesus.
It's okay, Mike. It's okay. I accept you. Don't worry.
Of course, we accept them. I just want to see that dossier.
It's great when people have to be nice to you.
Yeah, totally.
We don't have to.
No. Talking about PR people.
PR.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can tell.
Sure.
I can always tell when they're
Maybe
just
that's
like.
why I like Disney World too, because they also kind of have to be nice to you.
And you really didn't like that Dick's Last Resort, so
No,
yeah.
I hate places where they are intentionally mean.
I love Dick's Last Resort.
Yeah, that's a big personality divider right there between us. That's like the difference, right?
All right. We've chatted about Mikey going vertical, and Grub is going to arise from his grave because he played Lumines Arise.
Yeah, I have not had much time with Lumines before, and as we were like talking about it, I'm gonna go check this out, and Dan had to go talk to Kojima about the Gruber or whatever. So he's like,
very important stuff to do, Grub.
Very important stuff to do.
Yeah.
He actually gave me a quick like crash course. He's like, just wait for the line. That's when it's going to come down. So just make sure you get the thing in place before that. I'm like, okay, that makes sense. And then Mark McDonald was there and he gave me a few more pointers and they force you to go through the tutorial for the thing. So now I understand Lumines. there are like several levels more of the strategy of how to actually place these blocks that I'm like figuring out as I'm playing. But I got to see what this game is, which is Tetris Effect for Lumines, which I think is a really good idea. So, you know, you're going through these sessions, and just like Tetris Effect, where it's going to change its visual aesthetic and audio aesthetic every couple of rounds before like an overarching round ends. And every single time it changed, it was to the coolest shit I've ever seen. There's at one point where it's like these mechanical hands that had these wires attached to them that were like controlling the luminous blocks, and it just looked so shit hot. I was really into it. It sounded incredible. I'm like, oh, I'm a Lumines guy now. And now they've also introduced a I believe this is new. The kind of the feature from Tetris Effect where you could slow down time and try to get a massive combo. Yeah, so now you slow down time, and then one of the two colors, because Lumines has two colors that you're trying to match up. One of the two colors will be chosen as the thing that you try to get as much of a combo in. And it's like, if you can make the block, a big square block of this color solid, you can get like a big 45-point combo or something like that. Mark played, and he got something like a 50-point combo. It was really, really impressive. Beckler, you were watching it. What'd you think?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's such an incredible like design language going on with this thing too. I mean, it definitely helps sitting 2 feet in front of a 75-inch screen to see what's going on. But I was taking all that in. Not that I was stoned or anything. I was just sort of like, I'd like to be stoned right
clarify.
now.
Yeah,
I'd like to really be under the. It is. Yep. Thank you. Yeah. What an amazing sort of visual presentation, and a lot of little things that I was able to kind of really pay attention to with you playing, and then Frushtig was there with us too, and he played for a little bit. And you know, the attention to detail there. You know, I feel like, and Mark was talking about it too, where it's like, oh, like, why shouldn't these kinds of games get the big console treatment, right? Like, and when you see this thing and you really examine what's going on, you're like, oh my God, there's just so much to explore here, not just with the music, which is really impressive stuff, but each level's design and what's going on in the background and the kind of aesthetic choices they make for what each of the binary shapes are or themes are on the Luminous board. Man, I was really impressed with this game.
And again,
all the sense in the world to give it the Tetris Effect treatment, because it's like, that is kind of how Luminous worked back in the day on PSP. It's just like shifting visuals and things like that, and that's kind of what Tetris Effect did. So yeah, make it official, you know.
Yeah, and it's like I was like, people were mentioning that in chat, and I kind of remember seeing Luminous before, but it's like they are very much going for very different looking visuals that are more in line with Tetris Effect. So it's like even more of Luminous. So yeah, I was just super into it. And I love Tetris Effect. So them kind of being like, hey, we're just going to take a few things from that and kind of have Luminous meet Tetris Effect there really made it work for me. So I'm into this, and I'm ready to play a bunch more.
Akalar, what genre of music did you call it again that is in Luminous?
What did I say?
I think you said edging music.
Oh, there is a lot of edging there. Yeah.
It also does the thing where it's like subtle because, and I don't think this is in Luminous or Luminous Remastered, where the play field is sort of like shifting back and forth depending on the intensity of how you're playing. So it's like, as you really get into it and you start to like lean forward because it's really starting to go, the play field like moves closer to the screen and takes up more of the field of view as well. And so the pieces are like getting bigger, and you don't even realize it's happening unless you're watching someone else play, but it just makes you feel more attached to what's going on and makes it feel more alive and more vibrant. It clicked in every way for me.
I think that could be a fun like score competition thing between us. Like do like endless on Luminous, and because I was obsessed with
I would like to like try to get good at that game for sure. And they've said they're like really looking forward to like making sure they have the green check mark on Steam for Steam Decks. They were like, hey, this is a handheld game. We recognize that, so we're going to go for that here as well.
I remember crying playing the original Luminous, not because it made me emotional, but because it made my eyes hurt.
Oh
yeah.
Sure. Last game on the list before we go to Bricky Break is Mixtape. Jeff Grubb, Jeff Backlar, you
holy shit.
Yeah,
sat down and checked this out.
You played quite a bit of this. I played some. We were sitting next to each other and watching this thing. Boy, this thing really, really worked for me. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely more to understand and unpack with the actual moment-to-moment like playing of the game.
It seems like it's vignettes, right?
Yeah.
Like so this is from the people who made The Artful Escape. Is that the name of that game?
Yes.
And I didn't play that game, but what I remembered hearing about it was it's got a really strong style and it's really cool to kind of watch being played, but you don't necessarily need to play it yourself. And this one is I don't know, I was really enjoying playing it, even though it also has a very strong style. So it's got the animation on the twos, inspired by Into the Spider-Verse for sure. And you're playing as these teenage characters, as this one girl's about to go off to college or something like that, and she's like narrating the story to the camera.
Right.
The other characters can still hear it, and she's like, "This could be our last night together." But she's talking to the camera, but the other characters can still hear it, and they'll do these moments where they explain something, and then it'll cut to actual documentary footage of them explaining it, and another narrator will take over and really make it feel, I don't know, it just pops off the screen. It's very, very cool. And then there's these gameplay sections that are these vignettes of like, okay, you're running from the cops at the end of this party, and you're in a grocery cart, and you're just going to go on this high-speed chase where these cop cars are chasing you, and you're in the grocery cart, and it's sort of out of your control, but you can like spin it and try to make it straight, keep it straight to make it go like right down the street by using the left and right bumpers to sort of make the go arrow straight down the street. And then you can also turn it left and right with a stick. And it's like, there's just enough here where I'm really into the way that this plays as an action game, even though it's just supposed to look cool. So it's doing both things really well. Yeah.
Great music. It is very much definitely getting Freaks and Geeks vibes from it a little bit. And I think like presentationally speaking, it sort of feels so fresh and unmatched in that the way it kind of tells this story and forces you to interact with it, even if it's not quote unquote gameplay. There's plenty of moments, there's one part where you're driving around in a car and you're just sort of meant to like have all the passengers in the car headbang together with a song by hitting a button, and it just looks so good. You cannot not smile. You watch this thing and you just instantly smile because I was telling Woody at the end there, I was like, this game is speaking to me in a way that like nothing has really captured for me.
It's a very familiar thing above, like reminding me of my youth.
Yeah.
When I walked in on YouTube, there was an X-ray kissing scene happening. It was a very extended X-ray kissing.
Well, I don't know, not X-ray, but like certainly
the camera's inside the mouth.
Yeah. An X-ray would be something else.
It was incredible.
And each analog stick controlled the left and right tongues. And I mean, how can you not just burst out laughing right away? Like just really, really smart stuff. Even that opening presentation, there's some like, they edited in some regular video from like stock footage from things, and just feels really smart and fresh and clever. And I'm really impressed with what we got to see. Beethoven and Dinosaurs, the developer, and Mr. Galvatron was there on hand as well.
Really cool dudes on the couch.
I was glad to be able to talk to them and maybe want to play the game even more. And then the game just really hit hard. Like Backler said, it was just always fun. And the soundtrack isn't just like, good music. Like they are, the game is about a girl who wants to be a music supervisor. She wants to go on to work on like, I'm going to select the songs and make mixtapes for TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And so they have this really awesome licensed soundtrack. The Smashing Pumpkins and was it Silverchair? And
Silverchair's in there. Yep. Yeah. Devo, I think, was in there.
Yeah, a lot of Devo actually. Yes, and it just really was very inspiring. Actually, I was into it.
Yeah, even as someone that was just observing over y'all's shoulders, I was like, this is something special. And if like I had the added benefit of being able to listen to everything going on, I think it seems already like it really shines. So excited for Mixtape, and I'm excited to take a quick break, and then we'll talk about all the news right after this. Before we get to Jeff Grubb with the news.
Yeah, breaking news from Jeff Bacalar.
Jeff Bacalar, you got something you wanna talk about?
I do. Thank you, Jan. Well, as if there weren't enough massive announcements,
Brad's leaving?
Brad's leaving?
I have to tell you all that once again, Brad Shoemaker is leaving Giant Bomb. No, I've been a bit of a sneaky boy. And in the last few weeks, I know we've had a ton of announcements, but I've got something else that I would like to share with this group, with this audience, with even my coworkers here. They know a little bit. My co-owners.
Oh shit.
I've been a sneaky boy.
Just get to it because people are freaking out.
Oh no, this is good. This is called edging. I'm an edging expert. I've been up to something outside of Giant Bomb. For over a year now, I've been working with a incredibly talented team of artists and writers and letterers and colorers on a web comic that is based on a story that I created a while back, and it's finally almost ready for prime time.
Yay.
Very cool stuff. It's like a sci-fi thriller. It explores paranoia and nostalgia for a little bit of a time when we used to respect the computer, you know, when we used to put it on a pedestal. Yeah, so the comic is called What Lies Below the Lilies, and you can go to belowthelilies.com right now. And what I'd love for everyone to do, if you would like to, is go check out the website and sign up, because that is going to give you updates about the release for this comic.
Is there any nudity?
Not yet, but I can always add that in.
Okay.
Please.
Yes. Yeah. Then I'll sign up.
Okay, cool. Thank you for signing up.
Will you have vertical panels at some of these?
Well, it's all vertical panels.
All
I know how to
right.
spell
You already
lilies?
went vertical.
No, I put a link in it's lilies with one L. Apparently, that's something we maybe did not account for right away, but I will link it everywhere. I've linked it in the chat. The website's amazing. It's like a GeoCities throwback website.
Oh, I love this.
Our publisher has done such an amazing job putting this together. Make sure you click and poke around in there, because there's a ton of Easter eggs and there's a lot
My
of stuff.
games isn't working. I'm trying to play games on this thing. How do I play games?
Okay, this is not the technical support part. Let's just say maybe some things unlock as we get closer to the launch of this comic. Here's something else that is not going to be
haunted donut.
Look, there are things I can't talk about just yet. You'll have to go and play around on the site. Please sign up if you'd like to. And then what you'll start to do is get one email a week that will also give you more clues about the comic and when it's going to actually release. It will be out very soon. But if you register on the site belowthelilies.com between now and Friday, the June 20th, you'll be automatically entered into a contest where we will, if you would like, we will put your face, your likeness somewhere in the comic book. So if you want to put if you're Mike Minotti and you win the contest, we will put Mike Minotti in the comic book.
You should do that anyways. Come on.
Actually,
know
we
in
can't do
there.
Mickey Mouse ears. It'll have to be like legally distinct ears.
Okay.
If you are having trouble going to belowthelilies.com, do HTTPS because it's
Yes.
it'll break it if you don't have the privacy thing.
Before I
Thank
did
you-
WWW,
thank you for
it
saying
said,
that.
it said Backlar was trying to take my credit card info.
It's secure. The site is secure. It's a secure site. I'll let them know that that's creating an issue here, though. I did put links in chat, and we'll help people out finding it if they can't. Like I said, June 20th, you have until then for the contest. If you want to, we'll put, if you don't want to be in it, we'll put like your dog or something in it, whatever
me.
you want.
Just default
Or-
back to me.
We'll put your dog or your Mike Minotti in it. Again, thank you everyone for all the support. I know it's been a wild couple of months here. This is something I've been working on for a very long time, very passionate about. It's super dope, very cool. So thank you everyone, and go check it out.
Congrats, Jeff. Very proud of you, big dog.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, well
Thank
done,
you.
dude. Very cool.
Yeah,
It's a
cool.
very, very cool site.
Speaking about leaking sensitive details, I think I remember this. This was maybe our last night at the Warfram Villa. The front door is locked, and Dan was the only one that knew the code to the door off the top of his head.
Like this was. Oh, Jan, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Even I knew not to do this.
Oh, Jan.
And then we asked, "Hey, Dan." Dan is maybe like he's not even out the front gate.
Am I not?
You're out. Yeah. Oh God.
You could have turned around, walked back to the front door to tell Chuck and I the code, and then you proceed to keep walking away and yell progressively louder in this neighborhood.
And there
we don't live
were
in.
people there were like neighbors and stuff. Yeah.
I'm sure there were no shady characters in that neighborhood.
No, I think we've proven that.
The fumes out of my face.
Everyone immediately was like, "Dad, stop it!"
But we were all just like, whoa, buddy, whoa. You said 8. I think you got 8 out.
You yelled at me from a distance. I don't know how you expected me to get my numbers back to you without a certain ball.
Wait, so we thought you would actually just come and open the door for
Yeah,
us. Is like
like-
what we actually
Then you should have
thought.
been like, Dan, come here.
But
This is on you. The blood's on your
Now,
hands.
to be fair, Dan did add also to the Airbnb, so we all could have learned this number. So
Yes.
a little
Yeah,
bit
that
of
would
it.
be hard.
The first thing
Yeah.
you could have did,
Yes.
right, was just at everyone in our Discord, hey, here's the code to the house. Bam, done.
I did. You're all on the thing, and I screenshotted it, and
No.
I pinned it to the SGF channel in the Discord.
Look,
did
we're
do that.
all in agreement. Dan's the worst communicator, right? We all know this to be true.
no,
Terrible,
no,
terrible. When you min max that part of it. That's at the
Someone,
min.
when someone robbed the house, you could have just told her to say, "I have a receipt for the house," and then it would all just sorted
true.
itself out.
But
Yeah.
officer, this is a receipt for an Airbnb. Unbelievable stuff.
I think night one, I was just hanging out outside, and then a guy comes up to me. He's like, "Hey, you see anyone run out here, brother?" And then he seemed on something as well. But anyway, Jeff Grubb, the news.
Yeah, I got some news. We'll kind of recap some Summer Game Fest stuff, some things from the past week. But I also think maybe later this week we should sit down and like catch up on some trailers.
I would love that.
Yeah,
Trailer
let's
park.
Trailer Park. There we go. Okay, Summer Game Fest happened. Resident Evil Requiem was announced. The Q is a 9, you see, so it's RE9 in that Requiem. They told us they wouldn't do this, and then they did do it. It was a pretty big surprise. It's coming out February 27th for PlayStation 5, Windows, Xbox Series X. It is going to send players back to Raccoon City in some form, even though there parts of that were exploded. I am very curious about this. I thought that trailer was really cool. It starts off in an FBI headquarters with a lady named Grace, and then she starts remembering some bad stuff that looks like a Resident Evil, and then it turned out to be a Resident Evil Requiem. What'd y'all think of this one?
I like the lead up to it for sure.
Yeah.
Got faked out. We got worked.
Yeah.
That worked.
I don't know if the working was necessary.
I love it.
It's fine. In the blink of an eye, it'll be announced. Sure. I mean, it's cool. I guess I'm maybe indifferent about it.
It didn't hurt for sure, right?
It didn't hurt. I honestly, if I had a trailer that sat in between those bookends, I'd be like, well, kind of fucking attention's off my shit. Not everyone's like you're either bummed out that RE9 wasn't announced, or you're like waiting, maybe RE is going to be announced, right? That kind of thing. But yeah, obviously horror is the only, we talked about this before we left. I only give a shit about horror now. That's my new arc. And I'm obviously very well served with this. I think it looks awesome.
I love that we don't even know the there are big questions with Resident Evil and lore, and as goofy as Resident Evil lore is, I do like it, and I like knowing each one. Okay, are we going to work in?
I'm expecting a lot more. I'm expecting other characters to show up. I'm expecting the locale that they showed, which kind of looked like maybe an insane asylum or a hospital. I'm expecting there to be way more than that. So. Yeah, they have a lot more they could show this game between now and February.
I like that Attraction City again. Like as much as I love, 7 and Village, it's like this kind of feels like it's bringing it back, home a bit. So very excited.
Have they worked in Outbreak stuff before? Because like I saw people saying that this is pulling from some like RE Outbreak lore.
Outbreak
stuff.
has a character named Alyssa Ashcroft, right? So, and that character was referenced to Resident Evil 7 at some point. So yeah, this new character must be related somehow. Yeah.
Ooh.
Project Century is now Stranger Than Heaven. Ryoga Kotoku Studio has announced its next game, like officially. They teased this before. I don't think they gave a date or anything, but this is the one that's like set in the 1940s.
They teased this at the Game Awards first, right?
That's right. Yes, they teased this, and that's when it was Project Century. It looks like a lot of their games, except for it does look like a significant leap forward in terms of tech and like assets. Like it just looks like a lot of new stuff, and then the way that the characters move around the world looked better than ever, and just the way they animated, everything just looked really amazing. So RGG is now becoming one of my favorite studios. This looks like another one that could put them over the top. Scott Pilgrim EX, which I don't think was like any of our thing, but I've heard from multiple people who are in the show. Okay, you're into it.
Yeah, I love Scott Pilgrim. I
liked the movie when I watched it, and then I didn't think about it much after that. I never really liked that beat 'em up. But this one got apparently a huge reaction from the crowd in that was in the room with it. So people are into this thing. It's coming out in 2026.
It's tribute games also though, so like it'll be good.
Yep. This one will be like tribute. What else did tribute do?
That's the Turtles guys and the ones doing Marvel Cosmic Invasion. They're
cool.
also making this right now.
Mina the Hollower got a release date. It's going to be out October 31st. Yacht Club Games just took the stage. Celia was up there talking about it. And they showed off a new trailer, but they also released a demo, which is available on Steam now, I think. Although I tried to find it.
You can download. Nope, it's there now. Yep.
Okay.
Oh.
I tried to add it. It's like you already have this in your library, and I have a demo from like 2022 that was a very early prototype. Apparently, they've done a ton of work since then to turn it into a real game, and looking forward to trying that out.
You can remove things from your library, like
that's what I'll do. Yeah,
I just downloaded the demo.
Okay. Lego Voyagers from Annapurna Interactive. This is a 2-player co-op adventure that seems to build on that Lego game that they released a few years ago. You play as little Lego pieces in a world that looks very realistic because Legos are relatively easy to render, and has ray tracing and just looks really beautiful. Capcom showed off. Capcom was kind of the big publisher at this show. They also showed off a decent look at Onimusha: Way of the Sword, which is coming out next year. I'd never played much Onimusha. This got me to a point where it's like I should go back and play some of those games because I'm very into what they showed for this new one. Let's see here, and then the big winner of the show, Felt That Boxing.
Yeah.
A Muppet-inspired boxing game made in Unreal Engine 5 that had I forget what Keeley said, but like a Muppet to graphics pipeline or something like that to make it look super realistic. And they just look like straight up puppets, but apparently it's all rendered. It has it also has like a vignette vibe to it, a WarioWare vibe to it a little bit, where there's a bunch of mini games,
plunging toilets and stuff, and then it was made for me.
Yes, and then there's some punch out stuff to it. It looks incredible. It was definitely my favorite game of the show by a long shot.
And it's cool because even if they have to kill some Muppets in the process of making this, it's like, all right,
right. Yeah. What's a few more dead Muppets?
Not a big deal.
Yeah. Hitman, it's getting Casino Royale, Le Chiffre. Yeah, Le Chiffre.
I thought it was Le Chiffre.
Yeah, I think it's Le Chiffre.
No one knows.
And then you sort of stumble into the Le Chiffre like that. Yeah, there you go. Obviously, IO is making that James Bond game, which that James Bond game showed up. Was that at the State of Play?
They did their own thing too. That I saw some clips. It seems like it didn't go great.
It was sound like a hot mess.
Wait, what happened?
MinMax put a clip of Hanson and Leo watching it, and it is like a montage of
watching
technical mishaps
didn't hear.
IOI did a panel thing, like they did their own presentation.
Got it.
Either way, they're making that James Bond game. So apparently they're bringing this Casino Royale mission into the game to kind of celebrate that. And they're reworking, what was it, Paris? One of the stages.
Yeah, Paris is that's
Well,
the
how
base
come we
of it.
didn't talk about the Mind's Eye collaboration with Hitman? It's Mind's Eye week.
Oh yeah, it's Mind's Eye.
Well,
we were
Mind's Eye
saying
week, yeah.
that was going to be the big come home moment here, Mike.
I'm sorry, I spilled it.
You ruined it. Okay, then I have a list of other games, which I don't know if you guys could see if there's anything worth calling out. I Backlar Atomic Heart 2. I know that spoke to you. Were you into what you saw for that?
Grub, that game is speaking to me. It's always been speaking to me.
It's been speaking to you for a long time, and now you got to admit what the voices in your head are. I see.
Yeah, and more importantly, that I'm justified. I have impeccable taste apparently because they're making another one of these. There's no one on earth who had this on their bingo card. There's no one on earth who was like, oh, this is gonna get a sequel, and it's right. Like, am I crazy?
I definitely wasn't expecting it. Although
I was expecting that. No,
this show had a lot of like unexpected sequels, like Mortal Shell 2 and Code Vein 2, and there's some others.
I think I look. I'll be the first to admit, like I bounced off that game because it kind of blows up and expands in a way that just didn't feel like I wanted to follow the path it had carved out before me.
Is there hope that like the second one they can really pull it all together?
I mean, that's what I'm hoping about everything is that the second one's just like a better way to do it than the first one did. So I'm cautiously optimistic there. But that world in itself is like very unique. Yes, it is very much a BioShock kind of thing, but also it does its own thing in a way that I find super satisfying. So yeah, I am very pleasantly surprised about this for sure.
Mm-hmm. There was also Mafia: The Old Country, Lies of P Overture. Anyone stop me if you want to talk about anything.
Ill was a big one.
Ill's what I was going to get to next.
Yes.
That was another big one for our Spooky Boy Baccalaureate, but I think we were all into what we saw from that, right?
Really pretty. I think writers everywhere are coming to realization that with a sans serif font, it just looks like we're writing the Roman numeral 3 when we talk about this game. But
I just had to make it lowercase I to make sure everyone knew what that was. Yeah,
right. It looked pretty sharp.
I agree. That one was like a bunch of like scary, almost zombie looking things, but there was more to them than that. And then like there was a giant gray, scary baby in a hallway. Yeah, that was pretty impressive stuff. Sonic Racing Crossworlds is coming out September 25th. Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. I think that was like an action RPG starring a bunch of like SpongeBob characters and things like that.
It's like like all sorts of Nickelodeon stuff because it was Timmy Turner narrating it. Whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm into SpongeBob these days because of the kids, so I'll check it out. End of Abyss is an action RPG as well, although it kind of looked like a dual stick shooter.
Yeah. That one looked cool.
It looked very cool. I always like a top-down shooter where the character has a laser sight and you can kind of just see where the laser's pointing.
Yeah,
that just triggers something in me every time. Wu-Tang: Rise of the Deceiver.
Yeah,
another action RPG. I talked to the Brass Lions people who have been making this for a long time about it on the couch, and they said Just Blaze made a bunch of stems and like really worked on incorporating the music and how it's going to respond to the action and things like that. I'm like, yes, that sounds like the exact right way to do this.
Just Blaze also did the NBA Street Volume 2 soundtrack. So yes.
There's yes, exactly. And so I'm like, ooh, I'm very excited about this. And then they showed it. It looks very cool. They didn't show a ton of gameplay. But there was definitely a little hint of it, and they promised more soon. So we'll probably see exactly what's going on in this game at some point before the end of the year. Out of Words, I don't remember this one.
This was the 2-player side-scrolling co-op game that kind of looked like a co-op Limbo, but obviously, where it takes two 2D also kind of right. Look,
it was Clay adjacent, right?
It was Clay adjacent. Sorry,
yes.
Jan.
And then let's see here, Infinitesimals. This is another little dude, big world thing, but I think you play as a grasshopper in like a power suit.
A militant grasshopper. It was giving me Vanquish vibes, and I don't know if I'm off base with it, but it was giving me that for sure. I thought it looked cool.
Wildgate, another one I don't necessarily. Oh, this is like a multiplayer one, right? The kind of one of the ones that got lost in the crowd a little bit. Arc Raiders is coming October 30th, so it got its date. I believe that was the first time we heard about that. Deadpool VR. This is another one that I heard like had an interesting crowd reaction where people were into it, and then once they found out it was a VR game, they were immediately kind of disappointed.
Yeah, if you saw anybody on Play Days looking a little green, they probably just had a demo with Deadpool VR. I think.
Oh, really? Is that going around?
One of those like you're just straight up running around.
Oh
right?
my
You're
God!
not trying to do the whole.
We're gonna make Bacalar do it.
No,
That's right.
you could see my head in my hand. I just I mean, there's something just so like inherently strange about that. I realize like you make the decision to make the VR game and you commit to that, and that's what it is.
You're wrong.
But,
You're not wrong though. This is weird. If it was a regular game, right? Wouldn't it be one of the bigger games of the show for a lot of people? I don't care about it, but it would have been.
And like I'm one of these people who like I'm not done with Deadpool. Like I think he's fine for the most part. Like maybe it's the pinball machine, but like Deadpool, I still kind of dig with some of the Deadpool stuff, and to make it this where it's like it's the thing that Deadpool probably wouldn't want, you know, like Deadpool, he would just be like, no, what? This
Wouldn't be.
This is like like it would be a joke. It would have been Deadpool. Yeah. This would have been Deadpool VR. Just kidding. It's not a VR game.
I'm almost shocked anybody makes this decision because it's just limiting your audience so much.
Oh my
God.
Immediately.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
right?
it has to be like subsidized by Facebook at a certain point, right?
Yeah,
it's also, I think it's also exclusive to MetaQuest 3 and S.
So yeah, it's got
Chat
to
is
be
saying
that.
Deadpool is played by Neil Patrick Harris.
That's
What?
weird.
That's
That's
I can see that.
I'm okay with
I
that.
can
What do you
see
mean?
it, but that's
that's
insane.
great. That's great. I welcome that.
I'm
He's
cool
a
off.
Disney adult.
I'm cool off NPH for a while.
Why?
Yeah.
What happened?
Just in general.
Oh, I thought, God, you never know. Like
You really wanted him to end up with Robin, huh?
Did we convince Backler that Weird Al
right.
got canceled once?
no.
I think so.
That was me. It was me, and I was devastated. I was very upset.
You did not convince me. Come on.
I was convinced, and I was very upset.
And then Square Enix had their big new game, Killer In, which actually I thought looked pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that did look cool.
Yeah, it was a little like, not like the, I don't know, prettiest game maybe, or the most like technically impressive, but it looked fun.
Right. It's sort of a multiplayer Clue action game. It looks like it's got more going on than
Foam Stars?
Yeah, Foam. Thank you, Mike. Foam Stars. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, it is weird because I feel like this is driven by the same initiative that gave us Foam Stars, right? But yeah,
I
maybe there's
agree.
something here.
All right, we ran through Summer Game Fest there. If there was anything else, shout it out in the chat. Xbox Showcase happened as well. Persona 4 remake, and I don't think anyone cares about this one. Oh no, okay. All right,
I gotta say, Mike, sitting next to you for that was just not fun.
I thought you were going to say it was infused you with excitement yourself.
I didn't know what to do. I wanted to like give you enough space for what was happening to your body. You kept like touching your face. When people touch their face a lot, it bothers me. I don't know.
I do touch my face a lot.
You were all up in it, and
Hey.
I was happy for you.
I like Persona 4 a lot. Now, kind of a weird trailer because we didn't see much, and what they showed was kind of basic, and also didn't even look as sharp as what Persona 3 did. It seems like they showed us this early, and I don't know if they showed it earlier than they wanted to because of the leaks and the voice actor protest or something like that.
It would have been hard to put something together that fast. Yeah.
But yeah, not the most, we didn't get a ton to see here, but Persona 3 Reload was very good. I'm sure this will be great too. I'm still kind of upset about the name, Revival. I don't know why we're not doing a fun TV word like rewind or rerun.
The most fun TV word. I'm with you.
Yeah, Be Kind Rewind, right? Exactly. So, but still, Persona 4 is a fantastic game. It does need a remake. There's some stuff that they can smooth out content-wise and just subject matter-wise. I think it'll make it more accessible to a ton of people.
Mikey judged me for who I chose to romance in that game.
Yeah, Yukiko.
Shameful.
I know we went into Xbox already. I just feel so bad that we didn't mention this. Going back to Summer Game Fest.
Yeah, go ahead.
Lucy James.
Lucy!
Oh, of course. Yeah, well done. Just great.
Oh my
Lucy
God.
killed it.
Summer James Fest. That's what we're
Summer
calling
James
it.
That's what
Fest,
some people are
yes.
saying. Yeah.
I think everyone was saying that.
Fucking believable. So proud of Lucy.
Yeah, she crushed it.
Phenomenal work.
Back to the Xbox Showcase, Microsoft's Asus's Xbox ROG Ally X was revealed. There's also a non-X variant, which is going to be more entry level. They didn't give a price or anything on these things. They are coming out before the end of the year. These are those ROG allies, but with an Xbox coding on them. I do think they have some improved specs. Me and Chuck were looking at it. He showed me some like there's more RAM on one of them. The X has like 24 gigabytes of RAM or something crazy like that. Really, the big differences here are, unlike the ROG Ally, these things have big giant Xbox grips on them, so that it's going to be, I guess, more ergonomic, but also just feel more like an Xbox controller in your hand with a screen in the middle. So there's that. I don't know how I feel about that, but a lot of people went hands-on with this thing, and a lot of people were saying good things about that. So I'll reserve my judgment.
Most important thing here, though, is that this game is launching apparently with.
Yeah. Well, that's actually not exactly the case. There's more to it than that. Yes, I know. The other thing real quick is this is going to have the Windows improved interface. Some people went hands-on with that. That doesn't seem like people were able to like really dive into that and see how much better. But overall, people said it was good, at least in that first taste. Now, Mike's right. The thing that like the marquee game that they showed with this handheld, this new Xbox handheld, was Hollow Knight Silksong, which is this is the only place that game showed up all week. You know, all these events, it just showed up as the game that's going to be on the Roger Ally from Xbox. And they made it sound like a launch game for that thing. Well, in the Discord for this game, for the developer, they were saying, well, yeah, it's coming out before the end of the year. And it's the release date is not tied to the ROG Ally. So it could come out before that, I guess.
I don't forget what the words was, but that was the impression I got from what they were saying.
I guess you could assume that it's going to, like, the game could come out, and then for sure that means the game will be available when the Roger Ally X from Xbox launches. So yeah,
it's just such the weirdest way to see anything about this game and to just hear it's still coming out this year. It's funny because like this game's marketing has been terrible in a way that has only helped it.
Yes.
Right? Like I don't understand. Defies convention.
People just can't stop talking about it. Yeah.
Are we ever gonna get an actual real trailer for this game?
You can get an actual shirt for Spoon Heaven though.
Yeah, the Spoon Heaven shirt.
.com.
Yeah, store.giantbomb.com, everybody. Spoon Heaven.
Well, if you want the newest games from the leading developers like Game Freak, you no longer have to go to Nintendo. You can go over to Xbox to get Beast of Reincarnation, which looks like a FromSoft inspired action RPG that's built around, and this is from them, demanding technical combat. What the hell is going on here?
What are they doing to me, y'all? Why do they do this to me? It's like when you're in a fake relationship or something, and then it turns out like your deadbeat partner that was like poor is actually a doctor.
It's like when you're in a fake relationship.
Yeah.
Well, you don't know in the moment.
That.
I'm not following.
You know in the moment that it's a fake relationship. You know, you're getting swindled.
Got it.
Bamboozled. Yeah. I'll just read this whole entire thing here. Beast of Reincarnation is set in post-apocalyptic Japan, a land ruined by corruption and crawling with monstrous beasts. Players will explore what it means to be a human and Beast of Reincarnation, an expansive one-person, one-dog action RPG built around demanding technical combat. You know, we've had a million of these, so
it's just so like when Game Freak does all their games, that's even almost weird. Like, oh right, they just make their own games sometimes.
Right?
They're usually like, you know, Tempo the Badass Elephant. They're good games, but they're kind of, you know, smaller projects. Then you have this thing. It looks huge and expensive.
I think you said this is why Pokemon looks so bad, because they were putting all their work into this.
Now, this is why Scarlet and Violet looks like shit. And then it actually kind of hurts more to see this because, like, they can make expensive looking games. They just don't for Pokemon.
They just do it for Xbox. Yeah.
Right, what's going on here?
I'm seeing people say that Game Freak's HQ is located inside the Nintendo building.
Yeah.
Really?
Right, yeah. But the Game Freak is its own company. It has been for forever. They just also own a third of the Pokemon company alongside Nintendo. So, I don't know. It's weird. This game apparently coming out 2026. We'll see. And then, of course, the big showstopper that everyone couldn't stop talking about, the thing that ended the show, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, which was so confusing. Not just because they ended the show with this, but the trailer was bizarre. It looked like a horror game. I don't know.
It's Rocky's son.
Yeah, it's
I was-
Rocky Sun.
I was into
Petrelli.
it. I don't know if I was interested. I
was curious.
I don't know what the end game of like misdirecting Black Ops 7 does for anybody. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't get the play there, right? Like, it's this sort of like misdirection is the punchline like, haha, we got you. It's just like, no, that doesn't make sense. What good does that do for anyone? I left this like upset. I know I am very prone to that emotional feeling, but like,
you're usually upset about
I'm
something.
usually upset or disappointed, general disappointment. But like, what the hell's going on here? What happened?
I guess I'm just confused because, I know we get a new Call of Duty every year, but they have these sub series within it. We just got Black Ops 6 last year by Treyarch and Raven, and now this year it's not like we're not going back to Modern Warfare. We're not doing something else. It's just Black Ops 7 with Treyarch and Raven, and I'm like, it's bizarre.
So I was talking to Mr. Call of Duty, Dean Takahashi, and he was explaining to me that his understanding is that because the development schedule, they originally had that like 3 teams each taking their turn, and then there was a big problem with one of them. And so Sledgehammer had to do like 2 games in a row. And their solution to that was, let's make each studio have a period where they do 2 of these in a row. That's why we did get 2 Modern Warfares in a row, right? There was
2 and 3.
Yeah, they were back to back. And so that was Infinity Ward's turn. Now it's Treyarch's turn to do 2 in a row. And then after this, they're going to get back on the 3 studio schedule, I guess. That's the explanation. I don't know if it makes sense from us sitting out here being like, is this as exciting? I don't know.
Like,
it looks so weird.
Like, Black Ops 6 is good, right? Like that was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I guess there's one thing about like, Call of Duty, the Black Ops is making way for the new Modern Warfare. It's weird. It's like, forget about Black Ops 6 from 7 months ago, right? Like, get ready for Black Ops 7.
Yep, it's bizarre. I don't fully understand it. All right, then there's some other stuff. Outer Worlds 2, which I thought looked really, really good.
Yeah.
Just kind of, I think it seems like they're really nailing what they're going for with this one. And it's what we talked about a little bit ago. These sequels, it's like they can really bring everything together that they tried or attempted in the first one. And I thought like the first Outer Worlds was a really good 7 out of 10 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they can get this one up to an 8, I will be happy. Like that's all they really have to do is get this thing to an 8 out of 10. I'll be like, yeah, that was totally worth it. So.
I probably would have played it anyway because I enjoyed the first one, but in a post-Avowed world, I'm now more up on Obsidian in general, so I really hope the action feels as good as it did in Avowed.
Yeah, that's a studio that's kind of really figured some things out recently, I think. Clockwork Revolution, maybe one of the big standouts of the show. Really, I think someone mentioned that showed really well.
You guys just caught up to the present.
When we first saw it, it just kind of, we didn't see a lot of it. And I was like, okay, I guess I was going to try to make kind of a quote unquote bigger game like this. And here we got a huge look at it.
It was long.
There's a lot going on here. And it all looks very pristine too. It's just kind of top of the line stuff.
For a game about time travel, it was long. Yeah.
I'm going to hit the rest of these a little bit quicker. High on Life 2.
What the heck? With the CG trailer, it's so weird.
Really weird. And then Ninja Gaiden 4, October 21st for that one.
Cool.
That looked fantastic as well. Gears of War Reloaded also looked pretty great. That is, let's see, a multiplayer test is coming June 13th. It is out on August 26th for PS5, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X. Wonder if we get a Switch 2 version. Probably not. Super Meat Boy 3D is out in early 2026, and it looked like a Super Mario 3D World, but Meat Boy. I think the thing that really popped me was the seeing all your deaths animated alongside you in the 3D world. What a cool thing. Obviously, that was awesome in Meat Boy, Super Meat Boy, but it looked really awesome in 3D.
Had not been on my radar in a long time as far as Meat Boy, and like this is a cool way to bring it back.
Mike talked about Grounded 2. It goes into early access July 29th. Aphelion, which is that Don't Nod space action adventure climbing game.
That was neat. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, the Jusant yes, they did Jusant. Looks like they're applying that to a different genre now, slightly different genre. It looked awesome, I thought. Keeper was another standout for me. This is a new Double Fine game where you play as a lighthouse that grows legs and walks around.
It's a house moving castle like.
I hope Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson make an appearance.
Just a cameo. Like you just get a glimpse of them arguing inside the thing. Yes. Yeah. All right. There are no ghosts at the Grand.
Yeah.
What was this one, Mike?
Skank-like.
This is that really
right.
cool one where
Ska
it's like
one.
the house flipper thing, right?
Yeah, Spooky House Flipper.
That's right. We were all into this.
This is in my like top 3 reveals of the show. I
Uh-huh.
think. Yeah.
Like that a lot. I was kind of looking forward to the Indiana Jones and the Great Circle DLC. I still am. Kind of just want to get my hands on it because I want to go back to that game. I was really into it. The Order of the Giants. It's going to come out September 4th. Chronos: The New Dawn is Blooper Team's new sci-fi horror game. They showed off a trailer of that. That's coming out in the fall. Invincible Versus, we talked about that. I don't know if that has a date. Doesn't look like it. But that's that 3v3 fighter. At Fate's End is a new one from the Spiritfarer developer, Thunder Lotus Games.
Right, that looks
It
neat.
looked really sick.
Spiritfarer
I
is a
thought
good
it
game. So
Looked
I'm
really
excited.
cool. Yes, I'm with you guys on that. Residence, a Plague Tale Legacy, a Plague Tale spin-off game that didn't have any rats, but it's coming out in 2026. That one also looked pretty impressive. Final Fantasy is coming to Xbox. Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate is coming to Xbox, and then Final Fantasy 16 is out now. Planet of Lana 2, Children of the Leaf, is coming out in 2026, promising an ambitious cinematic puzzle adventure that doubles the size and scope of the original. That was the Limbo-like, right? Kind of, yeah, I believe so. And then Anemo is a free-to-play creature-catching open-world RPG for mobile, Windows PC, and Xbox Series X in 2026. It had that it's a Pokemon game, but it has a very good 3D style that made Pokemon kind of look embarrassing by comparison once again. All right, let's hit the state of play, which also happened. I'm just going to pick out some big ones here. Bloodstained, Cairn, Digimon Story, Everybody's Golf, Final Fantasy Tactics finally confirmed. That was nice to see. They showed more of Ghost of Yotei, Hirogami, 007 First Light. Real quick, what did everyone think of that 007 First Light trailer? I thought it was pretty good.
I
It
thought
looked
it was
good.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
I
know
was
how
on
I
a
feel
plane
about.
and I couldn't see it.
Okay, yeah, same here at Disney. Yeah,
I don't know how I feel about James Bond being younger than me.
he did look like that was the one thing. Or I'm not sure about this James Bond, but I'll give them the chance to win me over. Let's see here. What else do I have? Lumines Arise, Marvel Tokon. Let's see, Metal Gear Solid Delta, Mortal Kombat Collection. Maybe one of the things I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Get me
excited
in
about that.
there. I'm ready.
Let's have
I
some
am.
Game Boy Mortal Kombat online sessions.
Oh God, it's gonna be great.
Are we losing Mike, or is that just me?
That
I
might
heard
I think it's just you.
Okay, all right, he's back for me.
He's right here.
Let's
I'm right
see,
here.
Ninja Gaiden, Neo 3, Pragmata, Project Defiant. Oh, no, Mike can't hear me anymore. Let him know that. Romeo's a Dead Man, Sea of Remnants,
Second.
Silent Hill F, Sword of the Sea, Thief VR, and Tides of Tomorrow. I think the thing. Okay, oh, see, he's way out of sync for me. So, Mike, whenever I hear you,
I'll
just
reload
like
for you,
5 seconds
buddy.
later, I don't
I'll
know.
be
I'm
right
gonna. Thank you. The thing I was most upset about was when Jan said that the Thief game should have been called Thievery with VR in the middle of
Right.
it. That was
Yeah.
like obviously.
I'm a
been
master
the
of
case.
marketing, baby. What can I say?
All right, last couple of stories here. Splatoon Raiders revealed for Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo announced Splatoon Raiders for the Nintendo Switch 2 teased on the Nintendo Today app. Players will be mechanics adventuring with Deep Cut in the Spiralite Islands. Spiralite? I can't say that. The announcement coincided with a Splatoon 3 update that's coming on June 12th. It's adding visual enhancements, new weapons, 30 kits in the Splatlands collection. It's going to also increase the levels for all of the weapons that are in the game, so you can go back and upgrade them even more. There will be new stages or a returning stage from Splatoon 1, Urchin Underpass, new badges, a series weapon power stat for Anarchy battles. I don't know, a bunch of new things. Some of it's gobbledygook to me because I haven't played Splatoon in a while. But Splatoon Raiders looks pretty cool, although I'm not sure if I fully understand what it even is.
I don't think they've really explained what it is, so it's a little that's confusing. I'm excited to go back to Splatoon 3 actually, and that's a game that I am curious to see what the Switch 2 improvements are like. I would like to spend more time in there for sure. Do you think this the fact that they just kind of announced this on their app or whatever, do you think this kills that rumor of there being a direct soon?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm not for sure, but I think it's less likely because it's definitely presented like it should have been in a direct. So maybe there's not a lot else for them to talk about.
There's no date though, so we can still get something where we get a date for that. We get a
Good point.
date for
They
Metroid Prime 4. I don't know.
Maybe this is them just trying to really promote the Nintendo Today app is something that they were cracking down on, where people were sharing stuff from the Nintendo Today app in the last couple of weeks. They would take screenshots and screen recordings, and they would post it on Twitter or they post it on Blue Sky, and Nintendo was DMCAing those things. Maybe that was in preparation for this thing where they're like, hey, this is why you need to be on the Nintendo Today app. And then you're right, maybe they actually tell us what this game is and give us a date in a direct at some point. The Outer Worlds 2 is officially Xbox's first $80 game. There was a lot of talk about this, although we were busy, we were traveling. I didn't really see a lot of the conversation. They told us they would start charging $80, and I'm a little bit over this at a certain point, but I don't know. $80 for Outer Worlds 2. You guys feeling that?
It's kind of a rough first one because people like Outer Worlds, but it just doesn't have the biggest audience in the world, right? So I don't know. You're asking a lot of people to pay $80 for a sequel game that they didn't play, to be honest. So it just seems difficult.
All right, then Konami is holding its own showcase later this week, a 37-minute presentation called Konami Press Start on June 12th, featuring game updates and developer updates. The show will focus on Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, releasing August 28th, and Silent Hill F, launching September 25th. The Metal Gear Solid Delta is remake, blah, blah, blah. They also said, and more. 37 minutes is a long time. I'm hoping that this is where that rumored Castlevania game finally shows up.
Oh.
Well, okay. Another thing, the and more, there is going to be a separate stream on the 13th that is just a Metal Gear Solid production hotline where the creators are going to talk about the future of the series. The creators of
I bet we see Collection Volume 2 with Metal Gear Solid 4 and Peace Walker.
I could see that.
That is very likely to show up here as well.
If that happens, we are all playing through Peace Walker together. I've never played through it.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Do that on this website.
Didn't they tease the online mode for 3 coming back as part of this? So you probably see a lot more about.
I could totally see that. Yeah.
Castlevania, I'd love to see a new game. Maybe they could still do like a Castlevania 3D collection with those 2 N64 and the 2 PS2 games, right? You can have that.
I would love that.
Maybe time for something new, hopefully.
Maybe some more Sudoku, perhaps.
Yeah.
You mean Suikoden?
Oh, okay. The Picross game. Yes.
That's what I meant.
All right, let's see here. And then finally, Bend is laying off 30% of its staff. Yeah. I didn't see this. Someone else added this.
Put that in there. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, this from Schreier. Sony's Bend Studio, which canceled a live service game earlier this year, is laying off 30% of its staff, around 40 people, Bloomberg News has learned. The studio has been spinning up a new project following the cancellation. So feels like one of those things where we're not going to close the studio, but we don't need all these people until we need these people. So
you know what? They probably should have just let them make Days Gone 2, actually.
It feels like that would have been a much better use of this time than whatever else has happened at that studio since then. Although I get not wanting to do that game just because that one guy is weird, but that's not enough of a reason to not do that game at this point.
Yeah, it's not enough reason to have 30 people lose their jobs or whatnot, 30%, right? So yeah.
Yep. And this is apparently just Bend. No other studio is getting hit in this moment, although Sony's had layoffs kind of in a bunch of different places over the last months, though not as much as like Microsoft and not as much as EA. So hopefully this doesn't spread too much more. All right, that does it for the news. I'm handing this show back over to Jan.
We're going to go take a quick bricky break, and we'll be back with some emails and super chats right after this. These are the emails for the show. Emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com is the email address to send your emails to. Write in about any and everything. You got a fun fact. You got some fun trivia. Perhaps a quiz. We'll go and read it and read as many emails as we can. First email comes from Simon from Saskatchewan. Simon has provided us with lots and lots of fun little tidbits. They're our own Snapple cap full of fun facts. Simon writes in, hello, Bombcast. Coffee does make people poo because it acts similar to a mild laxative. Caffeinated coffee is a stimulant that not only helps with concentration and staying awake, but also helps jumpstart certain involuntary muscles in our bodies.
You guys talked about poo on the last episode or something?
We were talking about the word diuretic, which is in itself exclusively attached to pee-pee. Which I did fine, but obviously the word laxative I assume is like the sister word of diuretic, if you consider pooping and peeing to be siblings.
It's like 1 and 2, you know.
Wait, who wouldn't?
Right? Who wouldn't? Right? There's like
those things have nothing to do with each other.
You're right.
I've never pooped without peeing.
Well, right. That's all poopies are peepees, but not all peepees are poopies.
That's true. Well, not give it a few more years for me, and then we'll see.
Oh, then you might need to get that looked at. Yeah.
Okay. Well, y'all are getting around that age. I won't have to do that for another 30 years because I'm young.
Exactly.
Caffeine can jumpstart the intestinal muscles. Other laxatives do this, but at a much higher level and can send water to the colon to make it softer and easier to get out. Other caffeinated drinks can do this, but coffee usually has more caffeine than caffeinated sodas like colas and Mountain Dew. Most people don't know Mountain Dew is caffeinated. Much appreciation. Simon from Saskatchewan. P.S. Merch master. Of all the merch I'd like to buy, it'd be a Blake Club mug with a great shirt with that great shirt logo.
Don't say mugs to Mike.
Oh,
Guys.
I was gonna hold back, but as soon as I logged into work email for the first time this weekend, so many more mug fires to put out.
You guys are gonna make him like shoot hot with the mugs.
Listen,
So I've been told like you're gonna have to like do this like individual thing with them. It's gonna be a big pain in the ass. I'm like, great, fantastic.
I might. What if I just snuck a mug onto the store while Mike wasn't looking?
Amazing. Well, it's harder. I don't know if it's easy to do, but yes, either way, yes, of course. Sneak away. Mike, I'm with you, bud. But mugs rule and people love them. I love them. Everyone loves mugs. And we just got to figure out a better way to like work with maybe a different partner to like get mugs that are packed better.
Let me put this mug fire out before I even think about mugs because it's still a very ongoing concern.
Mikey, what about a thermos?
That's fine.
Yeah, you can't really break a thermos.
No.
Okay, cool. Next email comes from, I forgot your name. I'm so sorry. Hey, fellas, months back, you guys mentioned about filming on location in Hawaii, and being someone who lived in Hawaii for years, I cannot think of a better piece of content, specifically if Dan is involved. Now, I know things have changed since then, so it may not be in the cards anytime soon. But if there is a chance, I think filming Dan trying different kinds of Hawaiian food is prime content. Foods like spam musubi, loco moco, lau lau, even poi. He probably has no idea what any of that is. I appreciate everything you guys do, and you got a fan for life. P.S. Jan, I work at a local Portland. Okay, baby. I'll holler at you. Thank you for that email.
Is it a dispensary?
Yes, but of coffee. So
yeah, they dispense coffee.
Of those good
it seems like it got hush for a second.
I don't care. Weed. What about that, Mike?
We've definitely been talking about traveling over the weekend. There's some people are like, hey, you should go to Japan. And they were like very insistent about it. And we were all like, we should try to make that happen. But those are the kinds of things where we would have to like really kind of plan around it and make it maybe a big event and kind of do some incentives
We've got
there.
some other things to worry about right now, business-wise. And also like just like PAX, we're trying to say, oh yeah, that's coming up. Are we doing that?
Yeah,
the gathering of the Juggalos.
That's right, which is priority. So these would be the kinds of things that we would plan for like 2026, exactly. Yep. But they are the kinds of things that we do think we could pull off as long as we get enough support. So we'll see.
I just think that the giant bomb luau sounds fantastic.
Oh, as soon as he said like, oh, if we all went to a luau, that'd be a ton of fun. I love that. Guess where the only luau I ever been was at.
I'm gonna say Disney.
Disney
true.
Hawaii was like a Moana thing.
No, at the Polynesian resort. Yeah.
Okay.
They just got rid of that so they can build a new hotel tower. Unfortunately, although the tower looks nice.
Sorry for your loss.
Luau in a tower.
Support local Hawaiians when you can, folks. Don't go to the Dole Plantation.
Oh, we didn't address Dan's departure, did we?
No. Why do we
No,
have to?
He had to go.
He shit out some confetti yesterday, so he's got to see a doctor.
Next one comes from Tom from London, UK. Hi guys. Do you think Nintendo's tech demo MMO thing will turn into an actual Switch 2 game? Or was it a tech test for Game Chat? Also, any word on a June Direct this year? Great job on Giant Bomb at Night. Awesome work for relatively short notice. Plus, everything else going on too. Cheers, Tom from London, UK.
I think if we had more time, like everything would have been even just that much more smooth. But for what time we did have, really happy with how things went. So thank you for saying that. And then the tech demo MMO thing, will it turn into an actual Switch 2 game, or was it just a tech test for Game Chat? It was definitely not just a tech test for Game Chat. It was a tech test for that game because, as I mentioned before, that tech test has a fully fleshed out soundtrack already ready to go. Like, they have put a ton of work into that thing already. So I think that they are just trying to figure out maybe how to present it to people. It's a really interesting, weird thing, and I hope it comes back. I think it will be a real Switch game, and then probably Switch and Switch 2 when it does come out. But is it free to play? How do they actually? What's the business model? I think that's the question that is probably holding it back at this moment.
Cool.
And then no word on a June Direct. I just who knows? We don't know.
Next email comes from Brian from Lancaster. I don't know who all controls socials for GB, but if Mike ever posts /skeets on the account, it should always lead with, "This is Tolkoto," as Miyamoto does for Nintendo.
Yeah, I think you can figure it out. I did sneak a Disney reference into one of the skeets from the weekend. I don't know if anybody picked up on it. It was kind of obscure.
Yeah, next time you see a skeet from the Giant Bomb Blue Sky account, I need you to also like at skeet who you think wrote it.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a fun little game. All right, next email comes from Tony from Sydney, Australia. Hi, Bombcast crew, longtime listener here. Thanks for all the laughs, insight, and ever comforting chaos you bring each week. From your end, what makes a good email? Are there certain things you look for that catch your attention, whether it's something you choose to read on the show or something that gets personal reply off air? Also, do you think you get any AI written emails these days? And if so, does that make a difference on how to engage with them? Would love to hear your thoughts, whether on air or not. Thanks again for all the great work. Warm regards, Tony from Sydney, Australia.
Are there any good emails? They're almost all like
exactly.
It's like, here's the code for a game that you won. I'm like, I'd rather not have to deal with this email.
Yeah, AI written emails is not something that bothers me because I just need to give me the info. As long as the info is not messed up, then I'm fine. If you're like vetting the email you're sending, then I don't give a shit.
I don't think it's also, I think it's important to also say, like, we realize it's not an easy job to like have to be normal. Or come off as normal, right? That's not fun. It doesn't sound like that. Like, so there is that element of it too, which is important to talk about.
I think Tony was specifically talking about in regards to a podcast email.
Oh shit! All right, well that's a whole other thing.
That'd be weird.
I was playing off what Mike was saying, but yeah, I think shorter the better, and like have a good bit, like short and sweet, but like capture. Time is money, right?
Yeah. Generally, whenever we get like a quiz or like a this or that type of dealio, we will read it because that is a lot of effort put into something. Sometimes people will do like a stat breakdown of whatever, and I'll make sure to include that. Since I wade through the email wasteland, something shorter, something punchy. I do, however, try and say thank you, or at least we'll say on air thank you if you do email something in regard to a specific person on the show, or is just general kind words. A lot of kind words, of course, since we have gone independent, and a lot of kind words after GB at Night. So love and appreciate all y'all for that. Next email comes from Mike from Loveland. Appropriate. We were talking about love just then. Greetings, chairman of Giant Bomb Zaibatsu. Every once in a while, Disney adults catch strays on your podcast, which I enjoy, but it has made me wonder if the Nintendo adults on the crew realize how similar they are to Disney adults. To an outside observer like myself, they are, in fact, pretty similar. Both have movies, theme parks, video games, merch, battled cartoons, museums, and both are almost exclusively marketed to children and families. Both trade on trying to recreate feelings you had as a child. Both have rabid, ultra-loyal brand defenders. What am I missing?
No.
If Nintendo is clearly the Disney of games, then Nintendo adults must be the Disney adults of games, correct? Just trying to make piece here among two groups with a lot of overlap on the Venn diagram. Love the show. Love all of you. Mike from Loveland.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, you know, I don't want to speak ill about Dan with him not being here, but he's the worst. He's
Sounds like
cooked
you do want to speak ill of him without him being here.
I don't
though.
know what you're talking about. I think the disease that Mike has with Disney is like 11-fold with Dan and Nintendo.
Yeah,
like for sure.
I think it's the same
you
thing.
have it too, but not as bad.
Yeah, and I think it's the same thing. I just like for me, I if I were to get defensive about it, I'd be like, has Disney done something as revolutionary as Breath of the Wild? Has like, I mean, for me, it's like, if you want to come at me, and be like, you should, as an adult, should not care about what this company's doing in video games. I'd be like, well, that's just wrong. That's just incorrect.
You know,
it's very important that like they were making these kinds of games, and other people are not or did not until they did.
I will say that Dan may be almost more Nintendo adulty than
Sure.
Mike here is a Disney adult because
I'm wearing Mario shirt right now.
That's okay. That's
Well,
a cool
'cause-
shirt. That's a
Yeah,
cool shirt.
I like it.
when Dan went to the Nintendo Museum, he bought everything there.
Yeah, of course. He's worse.
You know.
He's worse than Mike. Yes.
Oh, this is a good
Yes.
question for chat. What was Disney's Wii, Mike?
Bolt.
The
Wow,
first
that's
thing
a
you
mean
said,
thing
I
to
don't
say.
know what that is.
It's a
What
mean
is
Yeah.
thing to say about Wii.
You know what? Mike has tried a lot of cuisines for the first time at Disney World or Land. Just
sure.
like Dan first tried mushrooms for the first time in his life at Universal Studios,
Yeah.
or at least the Nintendo park.
You know what gets me is like with this, there's not an awareness as much on the perhaps Disney adult side, because you guys will always like amongst yourselves be like like the Mario versus Mickey question, who's more famous?
Right.
I'll say I think it's Mickey. Then you all be like, well, you're biased. Meanwhile, it's like us, all these video game Nintendo fans thinks it's Mario. There's no asterisks there for some reason. Or on the couch, when you had all these people who are wrestling fans, you were all positing who are weirder, Disney adults or wrestling adults.
Buddy,
Well,
I'm
us, the wrestling fans, think it's the Disney adults, obviously.
Look, I'm sure I have something that slots into this category where I'm equally as mentally ill as you all are with wrestling, Nintendo, and Disney. I'm just, it's not coming off the top of my tongue right now. I don't know what it is. I'm sure it's out there. But yeah, you're exactly right, Mike. It's unfair. You're treated unfairly because you're right. In the same breath that they make fun of you about just enjoying a national evil, well, depends on how you look at it, corporation, they are, sucking off the teat of Big Turnbuckle. So,
Turnbuckle teat.
it's definitely a lot of hypocriticism happening.
Thank you.
All right. Next email comes from Haggis. Hi, guys. I'm sure you've gotten a ton of emails telling you that Nacho is a nickname for Ignacio. But has anyone ever told you that nachos, the food, are named after a specific Ignacio? In
Whoa.
1943. Oh, wow. That's so young.
Wait, it's the other way around? Oh my God, it makes so much more sense than people being named after nachos.
In 1943, nachos were invented by Ignacio Anaya, who called them Nachos Special. Keep up the good
Damn.
work. Haggis.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
This was like a thing, like it was they had like old tortilla shells, and then they like fried them up in like, it was like Texas or like just south of Texas or something like that.
This what you're saying sounds like the Doritos origin story, which happened in Disneyland.
Well, it could also be that, Mike. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm just saying. That's what
I didn't know.
happened.
Jesus Christ, I didn't know that happened at Disney. All right.
Yeah, Doritos were invented in Disneyland. Yeah.
Hey, so like it's affectionate to have if I were to name my future child Ignacio and then nickname him Nacho. Now, shoe on the other foot here. What if I have some friends were thinking about this? If they had a daughter, they would nickname her Cass, but that would be short for casserole.
Well,
I like
that daughter's just gonna get called Cassie, though, right?
Cassie. Yeah.
Okay, but
Yeah.
would you mind being like your full name being casserole?
No, yes.
I
Yeah.
would.
Yes, I would rather you not do that.
It'd bother
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, they're not together
Something about
anymore,
that,
so
nah.
that worked out. All right, two more emails before we get near the end of the show. This one comes from Travis and Fargo. Thanks, Travis, for not two-timing us. Obviously, it's probably not feasible for several reasons, but if all the logistics were taken care of, What's the ideal plan for Giant Bomb going on a cross-country tour of live shows and events? Travis and Fargo.
Well, the email itself is sort of contradictory, right? Because the email is saying it's not probable for several reasons, but
They're
if all the
asking you to
logistics were
imagine.
right, but that's my point is that it could happen if all of the logistics were taken care of.
So the question is then what would be the ideal plan if everything else was taken care
We
of?
need,
How
we
would
need
you
a
want to
tour
do it?
bus. We need a tour bus that we can like make our normal content from still, right?
I mean, that's how
we can travel with.
So you guys talk about the logistics again. Like, what would be the ideal plan for the actual live events? And
Where
like, how
are
would
we
do it?
going?
So presumably it's like a 25 city tour that crosses the country in the parabola shape, right?
Sure. Can we go to Canada a little bit? Will they have us?
Oh, we have to go to Canada a lot of it.
I want to go to Mexico City.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I would love that.
Sure. You know, it's a bigger circle now, for sure.
The parabola, this paraboling.
I want to visit my people in the Caribbean.
Okay, now
Can I
it's a
stay
boat. Now it's a
home?
plane boat. No, I think it's possible for sure. It's just a lot of fucking money. Like when bands tour, it's a lot of money to the band, and that's kind of what this is. It's a tour, and you need support. So that's how that
All right.
works.
You know what? Here, everyone here, name a city.
Yeah. Dallas.
Montreal,
Dubai.
Argentina.
the city of Argentina.
Because we have to visit Christian.
Yeah.
True.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it would be sick. It would be absolutely sick. It's definitely doable too. Like
Guillermo from Argentina was recording something, and I thought he was done, so I like jumped in front of the camera, and his face fell because I totally ruined his shot, and I felt terrible. This happened at Summer Game Fest.
I
want to go to Argentina and apologize to him.
I love seeing Guillermo.
Yeah.
What a good dude. He brought Grub and I some more yerba mate.
Yes, he did. I brought that home. I'm gonna make some today.
Delicioso. All right, last email from the show before Mike gets to super chats. This one comes from Mike in Loveland again. If Jeff is Bischoff, Jan is Kevin Nash, Grub is Scott Hall, Dan is Six, Minotti is Sting and McQuanchy makeup.
Oh.
Can't read some of this email. You worked yourselves into the ultimate shoot, brothers. Love the show. Love you all. Mike from Loveland.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
That makes a lot. That means a lot to me to be compared to Kevin Nash. Kevin Nash is really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's another win for the good guys, I think.
I don't know if this is a win for me as Eric Bischoff.
You want to be Hollywood Hulk Hogan?
No,
He's
I don't.
very desperate to be Hollywood Hawk.
I don't have enough Sharpie to color in the beard.
We had some of the nitros on, and that was the thing everyone commented on was his dark beard and how weird
And how
it was.
wet he is.
Yeah.
He's
but
so
also,
wet.
Like how unwell his skin looked. It looked too tight.
He looked like he was wearing a skin suit.
He
Because it
looked
was like
upsetting.
folding in weird ways.
Once again, the email is bombcast@giantbomb.com. Please write in about any and everything, and we'll try and get it on the show. Meanwhile, Mikey, you got some super chats to read.
Yes. Oh, Greg says, quoting Dan recently, I'm going to try. Reference to Dan becoming a better person who thinks before speaking. But I'm going to try, quoted by Dan Orange Cassidy Reichert. I have to remember when Orange Cassidy first said he's going to try. I like Orange Cassidy. Has he been wrestling lately? I did see him on the last paper.
I like his vibe for sure.
Yeah.
He hasn't been near like the top of the card. He's kind of like floating around right now.
They need to
Just
give him
use him
a
more.
title run, I think. I
Yes.
think he's deserved that. Stephen Beadle says, hi, guys. Stephen from Scotland here. My daughter Emily has just graduated from university. She watches the Bombcast. Can you give her a let's fucking go, Emily?
Yeah.
Let's fucking go, Emily!
Hell yeah. Good
Well done,
job.
Emily.
Thank you. Congratulations. to
Congratulations, Emily.
Oh wow, there it is. Hey, did our mics cut out there when we screamed?
Emily.
Probably.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Martin Hollis says, Reg McFly from Scotland here. Let's fucking go, Emily.
Hell
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, more shouts there, Emily. Martin also says, can we have a My Mind's Eye week according to eyes?
Hey, buddy, we're already having it.
You're
Yeah.
living it, brother.
Then Martin also says, thoughts about absence of Fable and Metroid. Not sure about Metroid, where that would have shown up, but
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Fable not being there and
Marathon.
Dark.
Perfect Dark not being there.
I'm hearing
Marathon.
I mentioned Perfect Dark, and now people are like, just mention me. I guess I can't verify, but they're like, that might be further off than we're even thinking. And that's
Jeez, they announced
I
that
don't know for
forever
sure, but that's
ago.
what I'm hearing. I don't know.
I mean, I know they basically announced it when they were making that studio, but
Yeah.
still, Fable's a little strange. Like we got a decent look at that last year to not give us any kind of update. Kind of strange.
They are going to be at Gamescom, so I guess they have another chance to like talk about a few more things. But that to me means that Fable's out like early next year at the earliest.
And then last one here, Eggy says, Mike, tell us about when you ate live ants. Yeah. Me and my buddies in high school were all in kind of a dark basement watching.
I thought you were going to say dark place.
No. We're all just ignorant idiots. We were all happy.
You're snorting pixie sticks, yeah.
It's just a very dark basement. We were watching Pitch Black with Vin Diesel. And there was just a bag of chips I noticed near me. Who knows how long they've been down there. So I just grabbed the bag, just started eating handfuls of these chips. My one buddy was getting in there too. And like once the movie was over, someone turned the lights on. I noticed that there were just a million tiny ants crawling all over those chippies.
How old are you?
Like 16, 17. I ate so many ants.
Okay. This explains a lot.
Felt great though. Turns out ants are fine to eat. I think it's okay.
I'm sure turn him into the man he is today.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go nutso on mystery chips like that.
It was not the smartest thing I ever did. That's for sure.
You know, it's a little bit more texture, right?
I didn't notice. They were very tiny ants. Like you see those like micro ants sometimes. I don't know how they get so small.
They're just sort of like mites almost, not even ants.
Yeah.
It's not as bad as eating mystery couch opened chocolate like Danny O'Dwyer.
Oh, Danny.
Danny, we love you already. You don't need to do that.
He didn't even
cool.
He didn't even pause.
He's so cool.
He that was the most metal shit I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's dad metal, right?
That's Danny eating like half-eaten mystery chocolate's cool, and I eat a bag of ants by mistake, and that's gross.
Hey, you're fucking weird.
It's just funny. It's they're just different. I don't know what to tell you.
Chocolate on his face.
He did.
Yeah, a mark of shame. I love it.
Oh gosh.
All right. What do we got? Mike, does that wrap it up for
That's
Super
it for Super Chats. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody over there. What do we got going on for the rest of the week, boys? We got Game Mess mornings, Grub, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
That's right. Yeah, we'll probably find some time to record either quick looks or maybe look at some of those demos there in Steam Next Fest.
We gotta do some Switch 2 stuff, man.
And Switch 2 stuff will be the main thing that we try to get to this week.
Maybe we should do a knockout tour or knockout mode for UPF this week. Just a long one of those.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we could try to like extend it a little bit and do some other Switch 2 stuff. Maybe we do that on Thursday, and then we'll do knockout tour on Friday. That's a good idea.
Blake Club returns tomorrow. Mikey, are you ready to get back into looking so cool?
I guess so. I think I'm maybe I don't know if the end is super in sight, but we're getting there. We keep making proggies each time at least.
The proggies are better than I thought they would be. So yeah. you're doing all right.
There we go. We're gonna Grub mentioned we're gonna try and get some quick looks recorded and in the can. Lots of stuff to quick look. Some older stuff as well that I'd still be interested to see. Voicemail dump truck popping off on Thursday, correct? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sick. And also, folks, we understand that you may have been experiencing some audio issues while watching GB at night with some audio out of phase. I'm going to leave them up, but I'm going to take them, edit the audio so everything is all juicy for y'all at home, and we're going to upload them as separate breakout segments as well. And yes, we will also have a Summer Game Fest vlog as well. A good 1/8 of it is going to be dedicated to Dan's discovery of mustard, which kind of pains me inside.
Fuckle up, folks. Fuckle up.
Dan and I got to go to a red carpet, and there will be some footy from there for, interacting with
not as much footage we thought there would be, but yeah, there's some footy.
Not as much. I was kind of excited to meet a certain celebrity, and they just did not show up. But Ben Starr was there, so that's cool. Folks, that about does it for this week's episode of the Giant Bombcast. We'll see you next week for another episode. He's been Jeff. He's been Mike. Dan was here, but he's also been Dan. I've been Jan. And you know what? I'll say this, and this is just me saying it. Fuck ice. We'll see you next week for another episode. Until then, stand by and protect your fucking neighbors because you should love them. Goodbye.
Fuck 'em.